Let me pull that up. It looked vastly different from the RGB one.
Naked Man Tangent Cobb. When you said loose legs, are you talking about like if you shake it kind of thing and they're just flopping around?
Yeah, mine were
level of
right up
at
the waist, the ball pegs in there. Like you just want to do the splits.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this answers your question.
Yours aren't bad.
It's not that loose.
Yeah, this one on mine is just. I was having such a hard time trying to pose them and do my video. I was frustrated as hell.
Oh, that sucks. I just warmed him up.
Tighten him up somehow. What about that? At the waist in the back, do you get a big gap in those?
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, especially the back, man.
But it's a little hole, right?
Huge gap in the back.
Yeah.
I know the legs are something I'll probably work on. I'm just like
the gap is only if you like totally give them the.
Yeah, that's what I said in my video too. I was like, I'm not really gonna be bending them that much, but bending them back and stuff. The front's not as bad, but the back has a big one.
This feels really good though, off the just out of the box playing with him. I love the way they have him moving. He's not, And I just played with that import V-Toys Asura, so that thing was crazy compared to this, but it was pretty good.
I will say the Extreme Ghostbusters Ecto 1 apparently has extreme ghost-busting sounds.
Ooh. Like
we all know
press the button, it goes extreme.
Lincoln Park? What are we talking?
Oh,
I don't like the way that one's shaped, though.
Right? Like, it's really big. I mean, it looks like it came straight from the show.
Oh, for sure.
But, yeah, it's like real big back here, then it gets real narrow up front.
I do like all the stuff on top, though. Like,
I agree, because this, to me, like, I mean...
The front of it almost looks like the DeLorean, almost.
Little bit.
I know it's sacrilege, but did they ever make toys for the other Ghostbusters cartoon with the gorilla, Tracy?
Yeah.
Yep. They did.
Yeah. They even made a whole base. They had their whole house.
Place that ever made.
Car and everything.
Yeah. That definitely it had all the good stuff for that one too. Which I'm glad they did do that. Because it needed it.
I like that Ghostbusters cartoon.
I'm not as big of a fan of that one, but
that Filmation cartoon was actually based on a live action show with Larry Storch in it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
One thing I will say about it, I think one of the reasons why it doesn't do it as much for me, of course, as the real Ghostbusters, is because of how many times I was tricked into thinking it was real Ghostbusters was going to be on when I saw Ghostbusters on TV Guide, and it was that.
Yeah, I think the problem with that, though, is technically the Filmation Ghostbusters are the real Ghostbusters because they existed first.
They were first, and they had
Columbia
a deal.
Pictures effed Filmation over and told them, "Oh, we never made any money off of Ghostbusters, so we don't have to pay you the royalties for using your name. By the way, here's the toy line and a cartoon." So yeah, that's a big part where Filmation went bankrupt was because freaking Columbia and the Ghostbusters movie. But I'm not bitter.
No, it doesn't. Love you, Allison.
Yeah, I would not suggest doing the arrows that other way that I did. Getting it back out was a pain.
Yeah, pain in the butt. Dragula intensified.
So I found something kind of cool. In my thing of spare parts, I had this WWE figure that had a Build-A-Figure part. I don't know who this is for, but I looked at the peg and I was like, I wonder.
Oh boy.
Whip says
now Orko has legs.
She-Ra and He-Man. I don't agree with that, but okay.
Well, actually, Filmation had already stopped making both of those by the time it all went down, because Mattel didn't pay. Everyone's like, oh, like they canceled She-Ra for He-Man. It's like, no, Mattel didn't pay Filmation to do more He-Man. They're like, we're good with like 1,000 episodes you've done. Let's pay you to do cartoons for She-Ra, because like where I lived, like that was a like package. You like He-Man came on and then She-Ra came on
Exactly.
like Monday through Friday, like, and then they moved her to Saturday and she was only on once a week, but still He-Man was on before that. So like He-Man never technically went away. It's just we didn't get new cartoons.
Well, let's look at it. Let's look at it from a different point of view, folks. All right, so most Filmation cartoons lasted 13 episodes long and were Saturday morning shows. Look at how many episodes He-Man got as compared to that. I see you nodding your head. You know exactly what I'm talking about, John.
True. He-Man definitely had an above average count, but that's also why we had new He-Man episodes every day. Whereas a lot of cartoons, you only had a new episode every week. He-Man had it daily, 5 days a week, new episodes. That wasn't from syndication afterwards. That was during its run. It was getting them daily.
Yeah, it
Even
had
when they did a
number of episodes compared to the normal 13 episode Saturday morning cartoon that got showed in perpetuity for years and years and years, the same 13 episodes over and over again. I'm looking directly at you, Batman: The New Adventures.
Oh my god! Right.
Even later on, when they did reruns of the Filmation He-Man and She-Ra, I almost felt like it was on like every single day.
It definitely was.
I grew up with it, and I still haven't watched every single episode of it. I can tell you now. And I got it all in there on DVD.
Because I really wasn't watching until like 1990.
You have to back in the day. You had to have so many episodes
like 3 or 4
to go into syndication. So like that's why when Super Friends went into super syndication, like you would get a couple weeks of the Challenge of the Super Friends, then you would get the shitty episodes with Wendy and Marvin, then you get shittier episodes with the Wonder Twins, then you would get Challenge of the Super Friends, because that was all in a Super Friends syndication package. And
so did you prefer Wendy and Marvin or the Super Twins?
I didn't like any of those fucking kids. Give me superheroes. I'm making the superheroes.
But you're not bitter. Zan and Jano, I like Zan and Jado.
I don't need to have like somebody I can relate to and like some kid to relate to, because kids suck. Like, give me superheroes. Like, if you need to put kids in it, there are Teen Titans. Give us some Teen Titans. I don't need no Wendy and Marvin, no made up Wonder Twins. BS. It's BS. And this kid's back to their planet. And give us like the Teen Titans, because those alien kids were boring. Form of a bucket of water, shape of an eagle, but it's not a real eagle; it's a made-up eagle. No.
Well,
and remember,
turning into an animal, you can
he had the superpower
into a water
creating a bucket out of nothing.
I think it's 100 episodes.
That monkey was the worst. That monkey. Space monkey. No.
Thank you. Where did he keep that bucket anyway, John?
I think Thanos can
prison wallet.
I
liked the
it's amazing what can be shoved into the anal cavity.
I like the international Super Friends, like Eldorado. I mean,
this is for Quip.
They are cliche as hell, but I liked Eldorado, like Samurai, Apache Chief, like all of those were cool. I liked Rima the Jungle Girl. She was like there for 2 or 3 episodes. Like, give me those. But those kids, no. Back to your planet. You're boring. You're annoying. They were always getting into hijinks. Like, what? No.
Oh,
like,
the
why are
hijinks.
the Super Friends hanging out with these kids who keep getting into trouble?
Well, they based those kids and the monkey off of Space Ghost, so that's why they got into.
I agree.
At least it wasn't Donnie and Marie.
Is that a WWE ice cream bar, Thanos? Excuse me, brick something?
No, man, it's not.
No.
It's even worse. Feel free to judge me, but it's a keto ice cream bar.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus, Brick. Get off my lawn.
Halo. You're wasting your time, Brick.
Halo top. No, dude, it's actually really delicious. No, trust me. Tiny
It's
carb.
frozen
Big,
protein. What do you think they use for that?
no, it's fat. It's all fat.
It's a
Best
Keto is
flavor,
all fat.
I don't know, man.
Oh yeah, that's
Times
true. Yeah,
change.
keto stuff is yeah.
True.
It's all fat, baby. Flavor.
Yeah.
Sean
There's
brings
just
up
no
a pretty.
carbohydrate.
He said the Super Friends stuff was all different series. They had like 4 or 5 different shows. Well, the syndication package also included some episodes that were never shown on Saturday mornings as well.
Yeah. Yep, it was just everything Hanna-Barbera had for Super Friends.
There was and there was a whole bunch of episodes where it was all a bunch of fairy tales. I didn't like those at all.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. The fairy tales. Oh my
Oh
god.
my
Yeah,
God,
those
Benji
those
Grimm
are-
and the
oof.
Thing cartoon of yesterday's podcast. Thank you for bringing up something I wish I
Hey,
forgot.
Derek's back.
Derek.
That's
I
right.
liked the new adventures of the Wonder Twins, the shorts that were on Adult Swim for a while.
Those were acceptable. I liked the Wonder Twins in that shit. But I didn't
The
know.
Aquaman dance party.
I don't know why the Wonder Twins like passed
Thing
my
ring,
BS
do your
radar.
thing.
I was down for them for some
You were
reason.
younger than I was at the time.
That's
You
true,
were-
but I was also very mad at Seven's Arc 7 in G-Force. So
You may
I don't know.
still be younger.
I loved
now,
G-Force.
Maybe.
Axion figures is like, get off my lawn, you kids.
Yeah, he's older than me even, so you know he's old.
I'm old.
I'm so old. My best friend in high school was Cher, a dinosaur, and a fossil that we call Cher. It's her old nose. It's its own thing now. So, but yeah.
When I was a kid, you could still buy pet rocks in the store, so that's how old I am.
I remember those damn things.
I remember that.
Suckers.
Those are
I
just
got my
embarrassing.
pet rock
That's-
in the
that's bad.
wild.
They tried to push those back out into the market. My mom was like, I had one. You want one? I'm like, no, I do not. Please get me a Star Wars figure or a Darcy doll or an outfit for Darcy or some fucking Raggedy Ann and Andy shit. Don't give me no fucking pet rock. Can go in the yard and get a fucking rock, Mom. Thanks.
Actually, it could have been a Star Wars character. It was Geode, but
Yeah, I remember that. That
It
did,
was,
did that ever take
with
off?
the potato.
did whatever take off? High Republic Geode?
Yeah, that High Republic crap. Did I ever go?
I
anywhere?
mean,
That's
you
my
don't wanna
favorite
ask me
Star
because
Wars
I
right
took
now.
sure as hell took off for me, but I don't know.
That's my favorite Star Wars
I dig
right
it.
now.
Wasn't
And
there
then
like
that-
a whole like rock characters in He-Man
Yeah,
that they
Geode.
did off the
Somebody
pet rock?
mentioned it just a minute ago.
Well, you had the Rock Warriors,
Rock
the Stone
on.
Warriors, right?
And
Rock
Stone
on and
Dar.
Stone
Yeah,
Dar.
but Geode was just a big
Transformed
monolith
to
that
her.
sat in this spaceship and was a rock, right?
Yeah.
And-
No, he's different. Like he would sit silently and then he would appear elsewhere. Used
And then we
cleverly. in
had
the book.
meteors.
It was almost like that rock creature that was in the Legion of Superheroes in the 80s. What was his name? Brute or some shit. He was cool though. But then he evolved and like fell in love with the White Witch. And I'm like, why is he gotta like date a witch? Like, why can't he just be a rock person? I don't, it was
And why's it got to be a white witch?
yeah, right. Well, and yeah, exactly.
Because they
The
wanted
white-
to market to the Starbucks crowd.
Well, and Legion of Superheroes only had one black character, Tyrock. He was from a different
fucking
dimension
name was
where
Karen.
all the black people had went to live. What the fuck was that, DC Comics? We were sent all the black people in the 1970s to a different planet because Earth sucked. It's like, well, yeah, but that's not.
Well,
how
they
it-
might have left because they saw how they were being drawn in those old DC comics.
Probably a good point. Yeah. Muriel and I have been reading Wonder Woman comics for our eventual podcast, and she keeps messaging me. She's like, "What the fuck is this?" I'm like, "It was the 40s."
Mod Wonder Woman. Mod when I Ching.
Yeah, no, we're not even to that. We're to the 40s, the golden age of comics, when there's some
Oh,
fucking.
is that when
And
Wonder Woman had
Muriel
that tire
Muriel
up
is not a
fetish
white. She is not white. So, but I warned her. I'm like, you're gonna see
Bondage
some shit
fetish.
here.
era?
It's not my fault. This is how comics were. It was a different time. And yeah, so I'll be glad when we start recording those so she can rant, not to me privately a message, but on the air. And we can
I'm
turn
looking
it-
forward to you guys going through those too. I think that'll be
Yeah,
fun.
it's gonna be fun. She's gonna join me. We were supposed to do strawberry shortcake for Christmas Eve, and her boyfriend's family invited them to Christmas Eve dinner, so we didn't get to. So we're making up our colored date tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Everyone should join us. Since you're all snowed in.
So the skeleton
We're never
style
snowed in
companion
New York.
ghost that came with Phoebe is riding shotgun in the Ecto one.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, okay, cool.
Is that window
Like-
tinted? Oh, it is blue, huh?
It is,
Yeah.
which kind of sucks because that's the blue ghost too.
Yeah.
But there's just enough room that I could fit it, and with the position it's in, like the way it's kneeling, it actually just looks like it's sitting shotgun.
Huh.
Allison, speaking of Wonder Woman, I just sent Lawrence a reel on Instagram earlier today of Wonder Woman from the TV show chasing down some criminals
Yeah.
riding a skateboard.
Oh, the
That
skateboard
was
with
the
the full-on
best
helmet.
season.
And it's so funny because the guy in the car is like, "Man, some broad's chasing us on a skateboard.
When she spins
And she's
in
gaining
that-
on us, and then they get out and run."
Yeah, and even whenever, well, and that one she has that when she does her spin, she turns into Wonder Woman. She's in a skate Wonder Woman costume.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
right.
That
Yep.
season had all kinds of. She spun one time and she's like in a deep dive outfit, so she could go. I don't remember if she actually fought a shark, but in my head, she went underwater and fought an evil shark.
Well, she had
That was
shark
like-
repellent. She wouldn't have to worry about fighting the shark.
What year was that show on?
It started in '74 with
Yeah.
it was called the all new, all original Wonder Woman because there was originally like in 1973, I think, a movie with Kathy Lee Crosby where she was blonde.
Blonde. Yeah.
And she was in like a little jumpsuit thing. It was like stupid. Fuck
Mhm.
that movie. And it did all right, but of course it sucked because it wasn't the real Wonder Woman. So then they did the movie and everybody loved it. So they did 2 or 3 more movies. And then it was a series. And then they moved it from World War II to the 70s. And it wasn't as good, but there was that was the same season where she met Leif Garrett. Sorry.
So was it when did it end? Like in terms of making new episodes?
In our hearts, or 1979 was the last New Year. But in
79,
my
okay,
heart,
'cause-
it forever. Except that Leif Garrett, fucking Leif Garrett. Whatever.
And it stayed on the air because I was born in 76
I-
and I remember as a kid that was like my favorite.
I remember when it went into
show.
syndication, and I would rush home from kindergarten to go watch it. And the stupid bitch down the street, Denise, was like, "I don't like this one. It's where she and Steve Trevor are hanging out." I'm like, "Go away, Denise. Nobody likes you." That little girl had hairy
Go
arms.
find
like a
Carl,
monkey.
Denise. Go hang out with Carl.
I bet Denise is married to Carl with her hairy. My mom, she left our house one day, and my mom was like, "That little girl has arms hairier than your dad's. What is up with that?" And I'm like, "I don't know, mother." But she's rude. I don't like the little. And then mom called her the little monkey girl. So if you ever wonder where I get it, it was my mom.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, for whatever that was like that was easily my favorite show. It got replaced by eventually I guess A-Team first and then Knight Rider. I forget what order. But and then my kid, my youngest kid, when he was born, got really into superhero what are they called? Superhero girls? No, superhero.
Yeah, the superhero
Teenage
girls.
superhero girls. Yeah. And he dressed up as Wonder Woman for Halloween. It was rad.
Awesome.
And I was a burglar. So he had walked me around with the lasso.
You got the lasso
Uh,
of truth, huh?
Yeah.
Damn.
Did we lose
So-
Oz?
I like the superhero. I was sad that the superhero girls action figure line didn't go longer because there was, it was clearly not for me, quote unquote, because it was new designs designed to appeal to kids. But I was sad it didn't go longer because there were some fun toys.
That was when my spouse, my wife, learned because Brick something was not very happy when he found out that mom, with the kid's permission, made the decision to sell those toys that I bought for him. I was like,
Oh my
okay, we have to
God.
have a conversation around the kids' toys.
Right.
I bought all of those for him, and I was just like so excited. And even though I knew it was like, oh, he's not as into him anymore, but just that call of selling him, I was so bummed.
Was that show out the same time that they were doing that Star Wars one with all the girls that was drawn basically
I
the
don't
same
think
way?
so. That was
The
later.
Star Wars one.
Yeah, there was a Star Wars one that was out.
Oh,
that was,
Forces of Destiny, the short.
yeah.
No,
yeah,
that
was kind of
no.
nope.
I think it was a long time before it. I think it had ended
They
maybe before
crossed
Forces
over
of
because
Destiny.
I remember buying
Okay.
my Forces of Destiny Ahsoka, who's over there now. I got her at the same time I got the big gift set of the superhero girls that had Hawk Girl. So
Well, I got the he had the action figure ones. There were like superhero girl, like larger
was the
dolls, and then
doll.
there were smaller ones.
Yeah, I only got the
And
action figures.
they were
The dolls
cool,
have those
man.
weird heads.
Yeah, they had vehicles, and I was super into it. And
I was just wondering because I got my 20-year-old, my daughter that's going to be 21 soon. Back then, got her like Bo-Katan and whatever else they had.
Yeah, they had. Well, it was
Padme, I think.
Yeah, the Padme. I've got actually all except the Kylo Ren Rey double.
I think they had a Bausch Leia too.
They didn't. No, they didn't ever release Bausch. They have.
Oh, they didn't. She was in it. But
classic Leia that was in a 2-pack with R2. Then there was Hoth Leia, Endor Leia.
I missed that Endor Leia. I want that one. It came with an Ewok.
Yep, it did. Yep.
It did. Good looking Ewok too.
I'll look and see if I have an extra one, Adam, and I'll see if I do because they would be opened. I'm pretty sure I do because I'm looking at the shelf and I have that Forces of Destiny Leia. Oh, but the dress was extra. Okay, because there's an Ewok Celebration Leia dress, but it's on an extra ceremonial Leia from.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was like a deluxe set that came with Leia in her green fatigues plus the dress plus the Ewok. That one was.
If not, I do kind of want to get a second one anyway, so that I can customize some stuff. So if I end up getting an extra one, I'll get the Ewok to you, because he's flocked. So
yeah.
But yeah, no, the only one I didn't get was the Kylo Ren, Rey 2-pack, and it was just because it was spendy, and all the Kylo Ren, Rey people that stand those characters were really rabid about getting them, so they were expensive. And I'm like, I'm not going to spend that much. I've got 2 different Reys in that line. I don't need that one. So that was a cool line, though. It was weird though because it's like some stores had it in the pink aisle, some had it with the Star Wars toys. Like they clearly should have asked me what that toy line should have been because it would have done better.
Mine was where I bought my daughter's here. It was actually in the little kids stuff.
Yeah, so some stores even had it like preschool aisle, so it was weird. Like I don't know. Hasbro / Kenner has tried so many times to do girl lines for Star Wars, and they always fall short.
Yep.
And it's like it's always because they try to like tread that line between action figure or doll, like which is a good time for me to plug my large size Princess Leia video that's on my channel right now. If anyone wants to go watch that, it's got a lot of views. It's doing pretty well. It's pretty good. Anyway,
Allison, we were talking about earlier. When you collected She-Ra as a kid, did you get the Horde figures as well?
No, my brother got all of those, so we had them, but I didn't play with the Horde.
Another brother, Bill, yeah.
Yeah, my brother had all of that. Like technically we had them, but I didn't. I preferred the mini comic and the storybook She-Ra where Catra was the villain and the Horde wasn't anything to do with it. I wanted like Scorpia and Shadow Weaver or whatever as toys, but they would have 100% just been Catra's friends. Like that first mini comic where Catra is like this barbarian queen who has all of these barbarian warriors and these cat people and flying cat bird things. Like that's my She-Ra. Like that, I prefer that. Filmation is fun and all, but it's like I prefer the high fantasy, like where like Adora and She-Ra are just the same person. There's no secret identity nonsense. Like I don't know. Like the Horde is fine. I enjoy people who like the Horde. I like the Horde for He-Man, but for She-Ra, it was always like, I just want Catra as the jealous beauty to like lead the barbarians and use her black magic, and She-Ra like to not beat her up, but conquer her every time. So,
yeah,
Allison, which Leia video was it?
It's called The Missteps of Kenner's Large Size Princess Leia figure. Because, you got to be a little clickbaity with your title.
So we've got this guy in here, and
it's true. Total.
I don't know whose whose channel he's coming in from.
No
He's
wonder
in
why
Maine.
trolls myself are coming after you. Well, if you got nothing else better to do, dude, that's fine.
You know, the funny part is you're still giving us a view. So, you know, keep on watching. It actually helps our engagement. You're only
Walk
actually
on,
helping everything.
Monu, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go check out Monu's channel. Let's see how cool Monu is on his own channel.
Do that. Sounds
Hey,
like,
so
sounds like a
question
plan.
about Shira. Was
Yeah.
Shira in the comics? Are you saying it was in the mini comics where she didn't have
the mini
a
comics that came with the first wave. So,
Okay, was there any connection to He-Man at all in those original ones?
yeah, in the first one it starts sort of like with the movie where like the sorceress is having a nightmare and she comes over and sends He-Man to Etheria. But like there's not she's not been brainwashed or anything, she's just been separated. So
the intent was that she was going to be He-Man's.
Yeah, she was
their
He-Man's
siblings.
sister. Yeah, they were siblings, but it was just like I would assume because the toys were separate, like they didn't want to confuse the toy lines. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, we were just curious earlier because, like, boys not playing with She-Ra unless their sister had them. We went the other way too.
I had a She-Ra as a kid. Not a bunch of them, but
My sister had a bunch, but I had to play with them. In fact, it was actually my sister who originally had, which eventually became mine, but like He-Man, Skeletor, Prince Adam, Evelyn, like she had all those figures, and then when I got of the age where I was playing with them, I just started playing with them.
I remember we played with 12-inch G.I. Joes in my friend's sister's room when she wasn't there, played with her Barbies, 12-inch Joes, until she came home and caught us one day, and then she started playing too. She's like, "Oh, you guys play with my dollhouse with your Joes? Let me play with you."
Oh yeah, I play Barbies with her too. I'd always take a Play-Doh and make like Play-Doh food for them and stuff.
That's awesome.
Purple steaks and all kinds of stuff. Yep.
So we was on the topic of comics a little bit ago. Is anybody even interested in Dynamite Comics doing their reboot of Thundercats?
A lot of people are. That thing's sold like crazy right now.
Yeah, I know. I got that on pre-order. I'm really anticipating that. And then of course, you know, they did a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle mashup with Stranger Things as well, a 4-issue comic set.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And that is awesome. It's really a good read.
I gotta check it
out.
out.
We have one comic book shop around here, and it's closing down. It's like within like 10, 15 miles of me. Closest one. And we're shutting down last time I went last weekend.
Yeah, one of the ones that's been here forever is shutting down soon too.
Yeah, we had one that opened up a couple years back in the next town over, and it was nice. But then, of course, pandemic kind of screwed it over. So I'm pretty sure it's closed.
Yeah, the one over here is closing because the price on the building's going to go up like 70% or something crazy. So the guy's like, "Yep, it's been a good run. I'm out of here."
It's that market's getting more and more fractured too, though. Like it used to be that everybody got all their comics from Diamond distribution, but then DC pulled out of Diamond.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel went to Penguin. Like the book distributor is doing Marvel, so it gets harder to navigate. And then shipping is getting more complicated, more expensive, because instead of getting one shipment, you're getting 3 shipments now. You're getting something from DC, something there. Where do they ship from? DC's got their own weird
Yeah, they're doing
thing
their
set
own
up,
thing
but
now, right? Yeah.
so you get like a shipment from Penguin, you get a shipment from DC, and you get a shipment from Diamond, and they all show up on different days, and it's different invoice formats, and like a lot of comic book shops that I am aware of are just sort of like Thanos, like you said, they're kind of like, well, it was fun while it lasted, like, but it's getting. I buy a lot of comic books, but I'm backing off on a lot of them because a lot of them are just I mean, Spawn's still
Garbage.
$3. We covered that. Spawn's still $3. That price hasn't gone up.
Did I hear you almost say garbage? Yes, I agree.
No, I wasn't going to say that. There's still a lot of really great books out there, but when they
there's a lot of
arbitrarily
books,
raise their
man.
price, $1, that's effectively, a 20% price hike, just not for any reason. Not like, oh, we hit issue 50 and issue 51 is going to be $1 more or something. It's like issue 27 is still 24 pages or whatever, and it's $5 instead of $4, and you're just like, I think I'm out on that title. I'll keep the $3.99 titles. The $4.99 titles, I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's crazy because I remember when they were under $1. Like, it's crazy.
68.
Yeah, when I was
cheapest I ever got.
when I was
ours
buying them, I think they were
fluctuates,
like $1.25 in the like 90s.
If the Canadian dollar changes, the price of my books goes up or down. So that's on a good day, they're more affordable, and on a bad day, they're even more.
I still have some of my original 30-cent comic books that were Star Wars.
Ooh. Yeah, see, I never bought them when they were actually, cover price at 35. I bought back issues that were 35 cents, but
I remember when they cost 25 cents.
Oh yeah.
Yep. That one up.
Yeah, they're like 70 cents when I first started buying them. So
yeah, I remember that 75-cent price point, but 60 something I had. I think,
of course, back then you could actually go to almost any store and see a whole complete spinner rack of comic books also. So
hell yeah.
Oh yeah,
even
you could
until
go
like the late
Yeah,
90s.
newsstand versus
spinner rack and
direct.
get
Yeah,
something
that was.
been up there for a couple of years too. That's
Yeah, our local drugstore used to have like a spinner rack and a little like wall rack.
When I was a kid, there was 2. So I lived, in the middle of nowhere. There was at the time, I think there was like 4 proper comic book shops in sort of the city, but I lived across the lake, which was considered like really far away. It's like 5 miles. But there was like a strip mall that was right across, like a field from me. And there was it was a pharmacy, but it was like how some of these like smaller local pharmacies are more like a CVS or like a Walgreens, where they're kind of like they have a little bit of everything. And then there was a bookstore, and both of them had comics, but they didn't always have the same one. So it was like I got to go to like 2 shops shop for comics, and they were like 2 doors down from each other. So
I feel you on that, Adam. Like growing up, we had ABC Comics. It was like right around the corner from my house. Come to find out years later, a friend that I made in middle school, his dad actually owned that comic shop, which was kind of cool. But
Bill, is
growing
that
up, we had.
first release?
yes, it is.
Ooh.
$3.50.
I got that too.
Hell yeah.
Very
I
nice.
bought
Joke.
this. I bought this.
Oh, but wait, that's
I
a
bought
trade.
this off the rack, people. $3.50.
Oh no, wait.
Killing Joke was a trade.
That was a trade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was a graphic novel. I don't think they called it a trade.
Yes, we
what
called
was
them
called a
graphic novels.
prestige format comic book, and it cost $3.50,
which was
I dare
expensive when it
say.
came out.
That was insanely expensive.
And now they're
for a
like
comic back
20
then.
bucks.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that
it
one's worth
equals
more than
out,
$20.
basically.
I bought
But,
this in probably, I want to say around somewhere between 1987 and 1988. It's got a copyright of 1988 in here.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a
Right.
first printing. I don't know if you can see down here at the very, very bottom, but
I think prices have probably gone back down, but that's worth something.
Well, yeah. I would
My leg is
save up.
getting looser as I play with this. Sorry.
but yeah,
I would
might have been
save up my entire month's
the
allowance.
prices of just a
Butt naked?
newsstand, what we call the newsstand issue of comics nowadays. No hold a key. Anything.
I didn't think that came off.
Well, they don't do like they all have a barcode. Like there's no differentiation now between the direct sales and the newsstand stuff. But I remember that when that was a big deal. Like if you were a collector and you're like, oh, but that's a newsstand one. I don't know. I mean, like I'm kind of rather have direct. I'd rather have the Spider-Man mask than a barcode in the bottom corner. Like it makes any difference at all.
Hey, they used to differentiate that though in the actual price guides for the comic.
Well, I know.
They
And I
did.
mean, still to
Crazy.
this day, there's something like there's some that still have a variance in the price, but for all intents and purposes now, nobody really cares.
I could
remember
care
all
less
those-
whether it's a newsstand issue or a direct market. I don't really care.
Yeah.
No,
Remember those
I'm-
ones that would be in like bags that like there was like
Yeah.
3 issues that I had multiple copies of because
Yeah.
some relative
Well,
got them for
that's
free.
I don't know if it's still the case, but X-Force #1 was the biggest selling comic book of all time because it was
Because of the art, purely because
because of the speculation.
Kidding.
Speculation.
Because
Good God, I remember when
people bought 30
number one
copies of
every
it
week.
because
Both
apparently the
the
story's
Cody
different in
covers.
different. No, I don't think so.
The story's different?
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Ooh.
That was back. That
I
was
still got
like,
a-
that was when comic book was.
So that
comic
one
books were-
was better selling than the Jim Lee X-Men ones with all the covers and stuff. Do they count the covers or?
They count them as unique. If it has a different barcode, it's a different. book.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, the Jim Lee X-Men #1 had 5 different covers because it had the 4 covers plus the gatefold spread cover.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I don't think that one sold. Like Spawn #1 probably sold more than like all the Image #1s sold a boatload too because that was during the sort of speculator bubble with comic books. And now, issues 1 through 5 of every one of those Image books is worth nothing because there's millions of them out there. Because everybody that thought they would be worth something bought too many of them and actually made it so that none of them were worth anything. So the speculators did it to themselves, and that's, I think, what's currently happening with action figures too.
I
It didn't happen with trading cards.
completely agree with that point.
It's the same in any
Yep.
market, right? You buy to sell, but so does everybody else because the market looks like it's gonna.
Oh, this is
Mythic
a
Legions
fruitful
Mythic Legions
investment.
is exactly in that right now, where the first
Yep.
few waves of figures before there was a huge increase in popularity and sort of consumption of those figures were pretty small runs. And so if you had extras of those, you can now sell a basic kind of unwanted figure really for like $100. That's like the base price for the first couple waves. But now people are buying speculatively, but there's way more people buying there's more people buying speculatively than there were buying to own them with the first few waves. So then you kind of go, okay, this math isn't mathing because unless that market increases, to the point where all of those speculative buyers have buyers for their product,
Right.
which I don't think it will.
Well, and there's a lot
The
more
bubble has
people.
burst.
There's a lot more people on the boat now with Mythic Legion, so they're not going.
Well, that's
back
what I'm
and
saying.
backtracking.
That's what I'm saying.
And then there's also like we know that like don't go backtrack because version 2 is going to kick ass.
Yeah, we've started to learn, right? Like there's not as much need. Like you go back and get Atlas 1, right? But look at what Atlas 2 is giving you. And
Atlas 1 is the price has dropped. Vorgus version 1, the price has dropped. Like
yeah,
a lot of because it comes down to, are you a completist or do you want the character? Because if you want the character, you're gonna pick the
exactly. Like,
version you
I
like the
don't
most,
need to
but-
be a completist. Like, I was going to try to be probably about as complete could be with Origins, right? But then it was like, my completest version of that was, I'm not going to worry about the con exclusives because I'm not actively going to conventions. And this was me
And
just
aftermarket prices, screw that.
well, this
I
was
hate aftermarket. I don't buy anything aftermarket.
yeah, I try not to unless it's like Amazon
that
and it's dirt cheap.
faker duplicate. You're looking at like $350. It's like,
Yeah, no.
It's a
It was $40.
$60 figure. Oh, it was 60.
That's
60.
why I don't own that.
But it goes. I mean, that's part. Like, I don't like paying aftermarket.
I'm just gonna custom paint
That's
my
why-
battle cat.
That's why I have the
Gonna
sort of.
scalp. Well, I was wondering if perhaps we could get some little sweet revenge on those scalpers with these reverse flash figures that are selling for like $80 and $90 over there on Evil Bay. Wouldn't it be wonderful if within the next 2 months they flood Walmart with all them figures and those idiots that bought all that shit up are sitting on
To
that
make
crap?
make it even worse, Bill, they were giving away Reverse Flash at PowerCon.
Really?
Yeah.
Where do you think most of them ones on Evil Bay probably popped up? They paid zero money for them.
Uh-huh.
I'm wondering. I was thinking maybe that somebody had some inside dope on the Chinese factory and were getting that shit sent straight from China to them. I don't know. But if anybody gets a reverse flash and they think about old Bill over here, just send me one my way. But I'm not paying for it on Evil Bay. That they're
Which
stupid.
reverse flash?
Superpowers.
Superpowers? Yeah.
Oh, superpowers. Okay, I thought it was a
Super
DC multiverse.
Yeah, multiverse they were giving away. They didn't give
I
away.
was gonna say I'll pull up my DC multiverse one.
Yeah,
And
now I'm talking about the
show it off.
Todd McFarlane's reverse flashes. They're asking insane prices for that over there on Evil Bay, and they're doing the same thing with Black Mana. And the Black Manas are starting to show up in force at the Walmarts, I've heard. So I'm hoping that those idiots will lose all their shirts on that shit.
I mean, I gotta say, for having as many retailer stores around me as I do have, I can't find past wave 2 of superpowers. They've got a
Just
ton
have a
of
million
wave
John
1.
Stewarts.
Yeah,
On
like
shelf,
John
yes,
Stewart's,
you're right.
those first
it's
2
the
waves
same
of Batman.
thing. It's the same thing that happened with the Origins. The Walmart overbought all that crap, and Target's not carrying them. So it's insane. The vehicles came out because they're on a different SKU. The vehicles are on a different SKU than the action figures. So the vehicles showed up. You got the Batmobile, you got the Invisible Jet, and the Whirly Bats are starting to show up now too. But that last wave of figures, they've yet to be seen. And if you want a John Stewart Green Lantern, I can get you hooked up there, buddy.
Yep. My Walmart had the John Stewarts on clearance for like $4, and then I went back again like a week later, and they were back on the regular pegs at 10. So
yeah, and that's because they weren't supposed to put them on clearance.
Yeah.
But
there's a shit ton of them.
I've seen people buying the vehicles on clearance too. But I've yet to see a Supermobile or a Batwing 1 on clearance in mine.
I got a Supermobile for $8.
The Batwings just went on clearance at my Walmart last week.
Yeah. My FOMO'd up ass went and bought them out at full price year before last. Newest wave I
Did
got.
you learn
my
from
Robin.
this, Bill?
Yeah, I've heard that they're starting to show up at GameStop. I don't walk in that store very often anymore.
I stopped walking into GameStop the day they asked me to walk out.
Yeah, I can feel you on that one.
I mean, with a couple of exceptions, right? But I mean, to me, that's all fine and good because I walked into that damn store every damn day for 8 years. I've been into a GameStop a total of 4 times since I've stopped working there. I went there once just to get some extra stuff for Christmas one year when I was still with Connor's mother. I went there once to get something for her eldest daughter for her birthday one year. I went there one time after that just to kind of walk around and see what had happened in my store since I had left. And then I walked in there one more time just to kind of check out some toys. I happened to be eating lunch right next to my old GameStop. And I went in there. And the first thing I noticed on the door was that they had a sign up. Now, this was like October of last year, it was in October of last year. They had a sign up saying that they were closing early for Halloween. I was like, since when the did they start closing early for Halloween?
They're already screwing their employees. They're getting ready to go out of business. They're firing people left and right.
They've always
they got one, maybe two people working in a store now by themselves. It's
Well, that's how my store always was. I would be in my store I'd be in my store working by myself the majority of the day. I would have another key holder come in at around 3:00. Now we were only open till 9 for 6 hours at the end of the day. And on the few times that I had payroll, they would actually have somebody else working with them. But I didn't have much payroll, right? I was given for the full business week, the bare minimum hours that they could give me to have other employees work was 72 hours, either 72 or 63. Now, mind you, I had to give 40 of those hours to my assistant manager. My hours didn't count because I was a store manager and I was salary. But I had to give 40 hours to my assistant, and then I had to give at least 20 hours to my 2 third key managers each. And that would basically use up my entire payroll, like just having my managers work without even having what's known as that base level associated game advisor. My payroll was already taken up by my managers. So I would have to find ways to still work my 44 hours or more so that I could actually get some of my other employees in there. But yeah, it was a real garbage crap system that they had, and they would definitely screw you over. Like, I had to work a midnight release every Monday into Tuesday night, basically. And we had to have a midnight release, whether we had 4 people showing up or whether we had 250 people showing up. Then I would have to turn around and open my store up early the next day. Store managers had to, required to do so. And you guys wonder how I can get no sleep and, be up again the next day.
When I worked at Game Crazy, that broke my sleep schedule for a good number of years because I would like close and then open and then close and then open like all the time. Like it just alternate between them to where I just had like no concept of time. It was basically a zombie. So.
And K-Dog's got it right. GameStop's been on its death's door for the last 15 years. That's why they've changed up the way they were doing things. When I started working at GameStop, they used to sell like some collectibles and some toys and stuff like that, and like other card games and everything. And then when they had, I remember like one of my first tasks was to box up all of that stuff. Oh, you've completely disassembled them, huh, Rick?
That's how his faceplate switches
Rick,
out.
Yeah.
is that a little poop?
Something
No,
right?
it's a face.
A little poop on
Oh,
my
the
face.
faceplate.
Where-
He was. You were holding up that faceplate, and I thought it was a little poop.
Oh,
Filter.
gotcha. No,
Just the
it's a
way you were
faceplate.
like holding it. Oh, okay.
All right,
What,
that's
you
the
hold your
first
so much
breakdown of
poker
that.
camera every now and then?
Sorry
How'd you
about
But
get
how
out
many
that way?
edibles have you had?
This is what I
None yet.
appreciate.
I was
Oh,
gonna
that
say
must
either
be the
too
problem.
many or not enough.
Some gummies.
The
So
back
check
of
it out.
that
This
open
is
mouth
the
faceplate.
I did have some gummies, but
Yeah,
they were
exactly.
just normal sour gummy worms.
maybe this is I don't know if that's what I thought too,
Well, the
Cobb.
back
That
of
maybe
that
it-
other one has a whole insert
Channel.
for that mouth. Yeah, I thought that was.
yeah, it's a whole insert
Hello,
just so
Stanley's Toy Channel.
that you can get in there and paint it, and it's a different color plastic so that the base is a darker.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. Some really cool stuff going on with this figure. I also am having an issue though with that
Wait
leg,
till
as I
you-
pointed out earlier. So it's
Yeah,
loosening
I
for
was.
sure.
I was checking out. I saw you up there.
I mean, it's not, for me at least, it's okay and it can be fixed. But like I've got better paint quality than what Dorkler had.
Yeah, I was worried about that when I saw his video. My legs haven't loosened up, but I haven't really been moving around too much. He looks great though. Like,
He really
Yeah,
does.
he looks really good. I'm so.
How many faceplates does he come with?
Cobweb had
Three.
the same problem.
I mean,
He's
for
got
me,
this one. He's got this one. And then he's got this one.
Perfect. Now I know exactly what they look like.
for me, it's the most expensive figure I've bought.
Thanks, Brent.
New to the higher
Rick,
end
always
figures.
out to help. Thanks.
Oh, sorry, I meant this one.
That's the one that looks like he's taking a crowd.
It's a cool little system though, with a little and it's a softer rubber, so you can kind of get it in there and I don't know.
So
It's
going
cool. I
back to
love-
my little
I love when they
poopy.
do that.
No, just kidding.
There you go. Is
Oz,
anybody?
I think
we were
you.
talking about that earlier tonight about Best Buy. Is anybody set foot in a Best Buy in the last 3 years?
I have,
No.
and ours
I have.
actually got
I
better.
was this last couple days.
But I'm in Canada, so I also step in Walmarts pretty regularly
Hmm.
on purpose.
I don't even have one near me. I have to travel a ways.
Yeah,
Well,
I haven't
fire
been to a
alone.
Best Buy in a couple of years. Last time I went to a Best Buy, I think,
Well-
was to get a gift card.
The other day, I was
Actually,
surprised
I
they had a couple
think
mouse
it was
covers, like
last
Cali,
year.
Is it true?
I
that
didn't
they're
go in, but I
taking
drove up
DVDs
to
off
pick
the
up another one.
shelves and Best
Sorry,
Buy,
one
they're
at a
not going
time,
to sell
please.
DVDs anymore in there. Is that true?
You're not going
I
to have
only
any
go to the
physical
toy
media at any
section.
store.
and then walked out. So I don't know. I didn't
That's
even
what I
look at the
did.
DVD.
So true, they don't sell cassettes anymore. I'm just kidding.
Yes.
I know
Best
they
Buy
don't.
is no longer selling CDs, and
Keep 'em-
neither
they
is
keep 'em in
Walmart.
the back.
One of my
wow,
coworkers
really?
brought in a cassette and like the tape was all pulled out. She's like, "Can you fix this for me?" Like an actual cassette. I was like, "I haven't seen
You're
one
like,
of these."
nope,
Oh,
it's
You got a
garbage.
pencil?
I
You
just
gotta
gave.
throw it out.
I
fixed
just
it. I
gave
sold it back up
Pencils
for
are
her,
made
but
for.
Thanos. I just gave Luke about 17 cassettes that I had because he just bought a Walkman.
that's great.
It's a brand new one. It was in the package, but he bought a brand new Walkman. He's like, "You got cassettes, Dad?" I'm like, "Yep." What the
There's
hell
like
you need it
new
for?
companies
Yeah.
coming out with like new Walkman.
Oh yeah.
Cassettes
Yeah.
are
Same with the record
cassettes are the
players,
new
right?
record.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
I don't.
Yeah,
Cassettes are the
imagine
new
that.
LPs.
History repeating itself. Who would have thought?
I used to listen to my dad's 8
Well, it's
tracks
funny.
though back in the day.
I still have
Same.
8 tracks.
They'll
too.
be next.
Yeah.
My friend got
But it's
laser
funny
disc.
because
I'm
like
just gonna
vinyl,
say,
I could go to a store and buy vinyl at like Goodwill or whatever for like $1 or $2, and now they're up to like $2.50, $3 at the Goodwill because the new albums are like $29 or something like that for a new record.
I will say, vinyl still gives you the best quality sound.
I love vinyl. I
That's
love the way
not-
vinyl sounds.
It's not objectively true. It still depends on your gear.
That does play a factor, of course. That'll always play a factor. You know, you gotta
What a-
have the
what a
right kind of
record-
Quality of
speakers.
the record.
What a record does is it gives you a physical like an analog representation of an analog process. But the reality now is that it's probably recorded digitally, then transferred onto an LP, and then you play that back through a digital system, and so it's not the same. If you take a Beatles record that was recorded studio live onto tape, and then that was put onto to vinyl, and then you play it through an analog system, it's the closest thing you'll get to being in that record studio. But
I like being able to access whatever
DVDs
music I
first
want.
came out and
at
they
any
sounded
time.
so muddy compared to vinyl. I think that's what we're talking about. When they were first digitally making those DVDs, CDs, they didn't have the sound right on them.
well, digital music is compressed. It's like, you think digital photography has the same issue, right? That
Yep.
it's pixels, so each
Mhm.
square represents one color. It doesn't like the world doesn't exist in pixels, right? Music does not exist in zeros and ones. So there's formatting issues that exist, and it's way more
But
complicated than
what you said, Brick, is true. My son got the Guardians of the Galaxy, whatever one has the Redbone song on it, and I
That
have
was the first one.
I have the original Redbone vinyl from back in the day, and they sound completely different. The both records, they sound completely
That
different.
was Adam, but yeah.
Or sorry, yeah, Adam, yeah.
anyway. I gotta go.
All right, Adam. Well,
Later.
thank you for joining us and hanging out tonight, brother. Glad to know you got some work done while joining in on the convos.
Yeah, I was sending emails and doing math while I was talking to you guys. So
I found my first QC issue if you want to see it before you
Yeah.
go. So these wristbands, they're like a softer, they're a softer
I thought you meant me. I thought it was
material.
a AWOC QC.
No. But I don't know if you can see it. There's a little slight crack there.
Ooh.
See it?
Ooh.
Here, I'll
Yeah,
turn
I see
it up
it.
so you don't see it. Yeah. And if I'm not careful, that'll rip right off. And he lost his pants. But
It's not a QC thing.
Nick,
He took those off.
don't let Thanos get a hold of him. He'll grow a thingy.
I already got him.
Yeah,
Just got to find the right
I
skin
mean,
tone.
don't
thingy.
let him, or I should.
He'll
send it to him.
he'll make it into something naughty.
I mean,
All right. So this comment here about the fact that physical media depletion, movie and game corporations are pushing hard for all digital because it gives them the control they haven't had since the VCR was invented.
Absolutely.
It's not even just about that, too. It's about the profit margins, right? So
You will own
when
nothing and like it.
they go through and they sell a physical game at $60, right? There's a production cost included in that $60. They turn around and sell you that same digital game for $60 with zero production cost as far as the physical media, right? Because they have to pay for the plastics, the manufacturing of the DVD case that's in. They got to pay for the physical printing of the actual label. They have to pay for the physical printing of the DVD or Blu-ray disc that it's on. All of that is included in that $60 cost. Now you turn around and you sell again a $60 game that is fully digital. You're still paying the artist that makes the cover art because they still have to have that digital cover art when you select your purchase, right? So you're still paying for that portion of production. You're still paying for them to produce and make and develop the game itself. But you don't have to pay for any of the physical production cost anymore. So you've already increased your profit margin by that cost.
You've also, for the stores, it takes them out of the whole piracy thing because there's a big thing about them having some responsibility in the piracy. If it's all digital, they don't have to worry about that. So you're not going to go buy a disc, pirate it, and then bring it back to the store.
Yeah,
Right.
As soon as things are released digitally, it's way easier to pirate.
Yeah, but that relieves the store itself of that
the
issue.
liability.
Yeah.
Yep. I used to remember people would go to Redbox and rent whatever the latest, hottest selling game was. They'd go rent it at Redbox, and because you could trade it in without a box, and we would buy it and just make a box, they would do that and get their $25 worth. And like they really thought like it was the most clever thing ever. Until Redbox get wise to the prepaid Visa gift cards not being credit cards. Because when you have to put your credit card in on that, and you don't return that disc, they charge you the full cost.
Yep.
All right, so King Grayskull is a bit darker than
Yeah, he looks.
Dark.
It's actually
looks kind of like a dead man.
Looks better in
compared
person.
to-
Yeah,
than
yeah.
on screen right here.
He's got a deep red undertone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in person it doesn't look. No, I guess it kind of does, but it looks more like it on screen. It's way-
And that was expensive. My son Luke lost one of the games one time that we rented from Redbox, and we couldn't find it. And they sent me a bill for like $68 or some shit like that for, a game that was $19.99 at Walmart at the time, right? Because you're
Oh,
paying
man.
full price for
I'd
it.
have bought the 1999 game and stuck it back.
Well, I
in.
ended up finding. I found. Well, you had to have the case with the barcode on it. That was the problem. In order,
right. Yeah,
Mhm.
because the Redbox games have a special label around the center.
Yep.
That's how I always knew where they were coming from, because they all had that same like QR code thing. That's how Redbox knew they were getting their disc back and not some other random disc.
Random memory
Well, I
unlocked
didn't-
back in the
they
day.
would totally charge you for $60. Well, actually, I guess because it wasn't a subscription service, huh?
right?
You just
No,
paid
not when
every
you're
time
talking
you
about the
rented.
little kiosk stores. Like,
Yeah. No, just because I remember with Netflix, like they would just be like, "It's lost." They'd be like, "Okay," but
Yeah.
they've made their money from you from the subscription, so
Yeah.
got it.
right.
Yeah. Redbox was like the just a rental thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's right.
But they always thought they were so clever with that. And it's like, yeah, they're going to catch up to you eventually. I remember we used to have this one guy who used to do it all the time. He'd come in with like multiple copies of the latest game to trade in for cash. And I was like, I know you didn't actually buy this game. He's like, yeah, I did. And I was like, no, you didn't, because that's why you're coming in with just a disc and it's got this Redbox label on it. Like, you do realize they're going to charge your card for this, right?
People are crazy.
Yeah.
Or stupid.
Crazy stupid.
Crazy,
stupid.
stupid, desperate. One somewhere in between.
Yeah.
This is a really good figure. I just gotta say, I like it. I'm digging. it.
Right.
Me too.
Yeah, I was waiting.
Regardless of bite or gripes, it's still
overall
good.
points for.
Shiny plastic
My- yeah,
people. I
m-
thought you were going to bed.
Oh, is he back?
All right.
I actually bought a game recently. I haven't bought a video game in a while. Have you guys seen Myth Force?
What's it called?
Myth Force?
Nope.
It's
No.
a first person. It looks like a Saturday morning cartoon. You have like warrior and mage and archer classes, but it's all like cartoony animation. And it's like a first person, but it's a roguelite, which is one where you play over and over again and you unlock. Like,
I may have heard of it.
I haven't actually loaded it up yet, but I bought it and installed it on Friday. Looks fun.
And Clamp Champ could actually be unmasked. Dark Wolf. He matches up really good.
Yeah, not too bad.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
that's really
actually
good.
looks
That's good.
nice.
That actually looks
Yeah,
good.
I like the.
Is it just your lighting, or does your sort of shaggy loincloth on Dark Wolf look grayish, bluish?
No,
It
it's
does
just
look
my
blue
light.
in
I
his
got my
lighting.
ring light in front of me. It's just real bright. It
Oh,
just
you know what?
shines on me.
But I did hold mine up to the light, and it actually does have grayish highlights. Wow, it actually looks really good. I wasn't paying attention because it's kind of dark in here.
That actually make a nice little custom barbarian type figure, Cobb. That a different one.
It
With that head
would if
on
it
there.
wasn't like $90. or
I know.
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
A little expensive for kit bashing.
Yeah, that's why I was like, man. I just bought I went on Amazon last night and bought a bunch of clearance figures. You got 5 figures for $79. I was like, man, I got 5 figures for the same price as that one I got.
Hey, Oz.
Wanted him though. I'm glad to have him.
Oz.
He
Go over there to the Toy Network and when you get a chance and look at that damn video that somebody just posted on YouTube not too long ago with the new Superpowers commercial that they made for the McFarlane it's called All the Batmans. That is the most hilarious thing I've seen in a while.
Did Allison make it?
No.
As far as the as far as the cost of this figure, Cobb, you were saying, yeah, I wanted it too, and also just like
Dave?
I wanted the character, but also just like it's a Frazetta, like their deal and doing their family stuff. Like okay, just like supporting all the other indies. I thought it'd be pretty cool.
That and then the cartoon. I remember watching it as a kid. Now I was way too young to be watching, but just was in awe of Dark Wolf. I was like, yeah,
Not by 80 standards, man. I think.
Yeah, really. I mean,
what's up?
I said not by 80 standards. I feel like we was just kind of a little bit more, whatever. But I just rewatched it like 2 weeks ago or something, and it's really cool, man.
You guys Dog there. Dog's got a AWOC question there in the chat.
What's AWOC?
What's AWOC again?
AWOC's got comics.
AWOC does have a comic, K-Dog, and you should definitely download it. The first one is free over. I don't know if the others are. I think it's only the first one that's free right now, over at spirotoys.com, or go to mine or Highly Articulated's. No, go to mine because there's the pre-recorded episodes where we do a thing called AWOC Talk where we actually talk about the story if you're curious. And we get through, I think, like issue 4 right now. We're still waiting. And then you can hear, anyways, it's a good story. It's a great story. Do they have plans? Does like Spiro have plans for a show? Like they don't. It's more of like a I wish. Like if someone would come around and say, hey, would you like to do a show? Absolutely they would. But yeah.
So AWOC has comics. Valaverse has a comic. Delta 17 will be coming out with a comic.
Yep.
That's pretty much the only ones that I know of that have
Monster Force. I can't believe you didn't say Monster Force, Ed.
Well, we'll see if that comic comes to fruition.
Oh, really? Might that not happen?
Yeah, Savage Crucible, Defenders of Eden.
Savage Crucible definitely has comics. Here's one.
I can't think of any other ones, but
I picked
the Monster Force one. I think the next comic is another one, just like this. The last one was. Brick is the problem. I think it's going to be more like just a character biography than an actual comic book.
I see.
That's cool too, though.
Yeah, but I think they're going to do, from what I can tell, they're going to do mini comics with the figures, so that might be okay.
While I was at PowerCon, I did pick up the Savage Crucible graphic novel that they have.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They have a graphic novel.
And it kind of explains a little bit more about like what the Crucible is. Not a lot, but you definitely see they got like a lot of stuff going on. It's actually a really good read through too. I really enjoyed reading this. Introduces you to a couple of the different races, but doesn't give you a lot of info.
And some of those characters figures they've been posting on their IG are just gorgeous looking. Jesus.
Oh yeah,
right.
That's probably my, aside from Hawk, Savage Crucible is probably my most anticipated right now for 2024.
Right, you get some more character concept. You get like a little map. Try not to crack it too hard because I don't want to break the spine opening it up fully there, but yeah, it's really good, and I really enjoyed getting back to the hotel room and reading it.
So Chris in the comments, Oz asked, but do they Do
Do they
what?
cover how savage the
Yeah,
Crucible is?
Oh, they
Jokes
do.
aside, they do. Yeah. They absolutely do. And it sets up this whole, I remember when they were talking about like pre Kickstarter, even, Rob, who runs the line, was doing like the tour on YouTube, etc. And, he's been talking with like a bunch of different toy companies, including AWOC, who had, successfully finished their Kickstarter starter already by that time. And part of the conceit, the whole thing of the Crucible, is that there's essentially, I mean, it's not a spoiler. It's free comic, or no, it's not a free comic. But basically, they come from a bunch of different worlds.
Yeah.
And so he was even saying, like, there's room for it. And I've talked with the folks at Spiro, even the possibility of like crossovers. So I don't know. I think that'd be pretty fun.
I'll tell you
If
what.
there's like a way to move into the world.
Yeah, Savage Crucible had one of the coolest marketing campaigns to launch that, when they were just sending out those disc with the clues to figure out what it was without telling anybody what it was. That was a good marketing scheme.
Yeah.
Yeah, people
Absolutely.
received this stuff and they didn't know what the hell it was. They didn't know, they didn't know the and
then they had to decode it, and then they figured out what it said, and they still didn't know what the hell it meant.
What was that? Wasn't there a Simpsons episode? It was like that viral marketing type thing where people didn't know what it was. What was it? Never mind. If you don't remember.
I haven't watched
vaguely
Simpsons in a long
remember it,
time.
but I can't think of it.
Rick, are you just over there heating everything up and getting everything off?
I wasn't to get what off. No, I did heat it up to begin with. I don't know if that loosened it, but you could take off the foot like any other foot. You just got to go in the right direction, follow the toe, and then just be careful, obviously. And then this it took a while, kind of just shimmying it up, the underwear.
I don't think I'm going to need to or want to at all, but I was just curious how you did. It was like, man.
The torso pops off on like a ball peg. So,
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did see that because.
Oh, sorry, did I not mention that part? Yeah, you got to do that for sure.
No, I wasn't even thinking about that. I'm just so careful with them. I'm like,
it pops right off.
Really, I haven't even tried that. Oh, yep. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I'm still new to these kind of figures too.
These kind of figures, yeah, not like Masterverse where it's like you're not allowed to take anything apart.
Actually, I'm getting those Mythic Legions will be coming Wednesday. I just looked at my tracking.
Which ones?
I don't know.
He won a bunch.
I won 5 Mythic Legions, and I don't know what they are yet.
Awesome.
Finally coming.
I feel like I vaguely remember that, but my brain.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but they finally got shipped out. So,
who'd you win it from? Was it Jesse's?
Dre. I think you know Dre, Collector Safe Space.
I don't.
Okay.
Oh wait, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought. Okay.
Yeah, because he's saying to you, yeah, and then Travis wasn't on there, but he had a Hexastack. Travis sent him some Hexastack. Really cool dude. Like, I just happened to come across him.
He definitely is.
Yeah, I met him through Everything's Plastic, Chris. I just caught him live one day and connected with him. He's really, really good dude.
Who's another awesome channel, Everything's Plastic.
Yeah, I actually chatted with him the other day. First time I've ever called Canada in my life.
See, first time you've ever called Canada. I called Canada so much I'm not allowed to call Canada anymore.
Really?
They'll send the Mount-Me's down after me. That's just because I found out like 418 was apparently an area code in Canada, and was really entertained that when they were answering the phone, oui, because I only know like very, very minimal French, most of which is not stuff you should be saying to people at 3 a.m. in the morning. And I called up a lot. And then next thing I knew, I was getting a call back from Quebec police. And I was like, I can't understand you.
Sending Dudley Do right after you, huh?
That's what I said. They're going to send the Mount-Me's down after me. And so, after that, I didn't call up there as much because then I got another like nasty voicemail a few weeks later from a detective that did speak all English, and they let me know. Not that I think you.
Did
Thanks,
they say
Chris.
that they had some other Fire and Ice figures in the works or something when this got
Tigger's
released?
up next.
Who?
The girl from the
Mhm.
Oh, Tigger?
movie.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. I couldn't remember. Oh, man. Because I'm like, I don't
There
know
was
if I...
a video that Eamon was on. I forget what it was, but he had the prototype like chilling.
So when he was
too.
like popping all the
Yeah.
pieces apart to show like
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
and he said that she was coming, right? Yeah, I knew I...
Well, there's no prototype of her in the video.
Our assholes.
Just spread your assholes.
Oh, man.
Briscoe.
I might
Every
have
time I
to-
think about French, I always think about the time that Bart walked in on the French class by accident, and all the kids busted out laughing at him, and he said, "No, no, no, en français," and they all went, "Ho, ho, 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 ho."
God, I'll tell you, man, The Simpsons, like it still hits because that's my
It
kids'
does.
favorite thing right now. They are all about it. And then I would have thought, oh yeah, maybe it's just because of the newer ones. Man, they go back to the first couple ones, and they're all about like season 3 to 7 is perfect. And I'm like, all right,
And
love it.
we all agree.
That's true.
It's crazy to go back and watch like from the earlier stuff and then through now. And of course, everybody knows, like, you know, some people have even said like Matt Groening is a time traveler.
Yeah, that's what my
And
kids are
Oh,
all about.
all the prediction stuff is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
it's insane just
Mhm.
how much of that stuff has like come to fruition. And it's like,
What was
And how-
what was once a parody,
The
is now
accuracy of the
reality.
prediction is crazy too.
yeah,
Like some of the scenes they put in there actually like almost happen.
yeah.
It was funny then because it was a parody that would never happen, and boom.
Right? It'll never actually
Well,
happen
like
until it
now
did.
we're living in a time where like you used to read the like Onion and stuff, and they're like, this is the most absurd thing. It would never happen. And now like the Onion is like actual news.
Right.
All right, K Dog got the joke when I was saying the Mount Me's. He was like, "That's a nice Mount Me hat." Mount Me? Well, not now, but maybe after a few beers.
My
Who can name that
favorite
movie?
Here all week.
My favorite onion was when George Harrison died. Do you guys were you following it pretty closely?
The Onion.
The Onion headline right after George Harrison died was Ringo next.
Oh man,
I remember that.
that's harsh.
Oh, that was for the Sass vault, Allison.
I gotta say, one thing that I did love about, like, there's not much positive to say about George Harrison's death, right? Because it's a very sad, very, very
God, I love it.
terrible thing. But I gotta say, that tribute concert they had after was,
I was
one
just
of
gonna
the
say.
most amazing friggin' concerts ever.
I'm glad you went there because that's exactly where my brain went. Right when you said that, I was like, "Well, Prince's guitar solo on, yeah,
Right?
Still, my guitar gently weeps."
It was one of the best guitar solos ever. And just seeing all those talents on stage together at one time, all having a role to play in probably the best super band you could ever have.
Ringo will not get that.
Ringo is a undervalued and underrated drummer. Man, I will tell you that. But
Right?
anyways, whatever. That's a whole other conversation.
That's a big, big other topic. Did you guys hear that the Rolling Stones were going on tour again, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't tour regularly? I didn't know that.
I'm just saying, like, the fact that they are like hardcore going on a tour.
Well, the
like,
Eagles are going on their 18th farewell tour, so with one original member left.
Ozzy's coming out with a new album, which is great, but he is not, because of his health, he stopped doing he was supposed to do a tour from the last one, and then they were like, yeah, you can't. So they had to like reschedule shows in closer proximity because of his health. He just could not deal with the travel. It's kind of scary.
I got a tangent on Ozzy. Okay, did anybody here ever watch Collider much?
I had
No.
seen a couple of episodes, but I had not actually like fully invested in the show because I was during my time of bouncing around to different houses, like living, so I couldn't get it like schedule wise, right?
Sure. Okay, never mind. Just
No,
because,
no, no. I want to hear this because that was a really, really cool concept of a show. Like,
yeah, I used to watch it like movie talk, but then they had a comic book show eventually, comic book centric show called Heroes, and it was run by John Schnepp, who unfortunately passed away like right before Collider fell apart. That
right.
dude was amazing. Like he was my favorite person on YouTube for the longest time. And I bring him up just because when you said Ozzy, I always think of him. He was I don't know if you guys do you remember Infectious Grooves in the late 90s?
Hell
Okay.
yeah.
Suicidal Tendencies and
Yeah.
a bunch of other folks. So anyway, I think it was their first video. I think their first single was Therapy. Maybe there was another one, but in that music video, John Schnepp is the mad scientist in that. Ozzy sings on it. He sings the chorus. Therapy. I bring it up because anyway, that triggered me. And then last night I was watching Unparalleled Universe, and I think it was Plasti who brought it up, Plasti Adicto, about just that time and Collider, and then they were talking about like how they loved watching it, etc. And that totally brought me back because like I think that's actually when I started getting into like watching YouTube pretty like regularly, right around that time. And then I think
You're talking about a different Collider. I was talking about like a show that was like on ABC, aren't you?
Oh, I'm not talking about.
Yeah,
sorry.
there was a Collider show. That's what I thought he was talking about too. Awesome.
Okay,
my bad.
Hold on.
My bad. No,
Well,
it
no,
was like
continue
the
this
Collider
talk.
Network.
Okay.
Collider Network, and I don't know that. I think the website might still exist, but I don't know that their YouTube presence did. But they would do like a regular like flagship show, which was Movie Talk, and that got really big because it was kind of like the height of the MCU. Well, not the height of, but like the build up. Once people caught on that, oh, this is rad.
Yes.
With like
Now
John
I know what you're
Campea
talking about. Right. It was very, very like MTV VJ kind of like vibes to how they did their videos.
a little bit. It was polished for sure. Like they had a full set and everything.
Yeah.
I was just wondering because that was like definitely one of my like big things on YouTube. And then I've never run into anyone else who was like super into it except Star Wars folks because they had a decent, like a really good Star Wars show, but like some of the people kind of were whack. But I was just surprised yesterday to hear sort of Wade from Unparalleled Universe and Plasti talk about like how much they love that. And it reminded me of like, because they had such like a staple of people that would come through. Eventually they did kind of like this trivia show, the Schmodown. And I automatically thought about like you and the Clubhouse and like all these people that are kind of become this group of folks like hanging out, and we all kind of have our channels and stuff. So anyway, if the reference is lost on you, it's all good. But John Schnepp, he was dope.
Totally get that now. Because I do remember like I'd watch like, again, like their YouTube channel was kind of like a again a broadcast channel, and they had like different shows more or less.
Yep.
And yes, I definitely remember that now. Oh man. As a matter of fact, I just pulled up their website because they are still going strong on the website.
The website's still going? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they've even got trending currently 2024 movie releases, like what to watch lists, top shows from Amazon Prime, Apple TV right now. Like, because that's kind of a website that can evolve and change with whatever's relevant media right now, right? Which is the smart way to run things, because that's how you stay. Because like think of like how many other channels maybe had like different setups, like the Looper or E-Bombs World. That would be a good one I recommend. Like the days of E-Bombs World. So, like, some of those have all gone to the wayside, whereas something like this can stay very relevant.
Yeah,
Finally got
unfortunately,
me-
their YouTube presence died, but
Finally got me some little stands.
nice. Is
Very good.
that's the NECA?
I have no idea what they are. They were cheap, like
Oh yeah.
At
5 for
Target?
20.
I have
Oh
a
yeah,
bunch of those from
I
Amazon.
You got to build them yourself.
yeah.
Yeah,
Come
they
on,
Some of them
just
though,
be
you got to be
careful.
Plastic
careful.
treat.
Exactly.
The ones I got are really weak. Like I can barely hold up
Yeah.
even my Mutant Mayhem turtle figures because I bought them for my McFarlane figures, and I have to use 2 stands with like 3 arms to hold one figure up in the air like a freaking inch.
Now these are like I got Masterverse Buzz Off and somebody else on one of them, so they hold those up.
I think it's all dependent on like what the actual brand.
Yeah, well, these you build yourself and you screw them together. So I screwed them all
Yeah.
real tight. So
So here you go, Mothman.
yeah, so you get some.
Mothman.
More often than you would think, and they're pretty easy to take off. They're just on guitar stands, and I just have these hair things kind of keeping them in there.
Mega J, instead of looking at all of these legends, why don't you just
Become one.
Just,
Oh no,
Well-
it's too late for Mega J. He's got to go to sleep. That guy needs to
Be a
sleep.
legend.
what are you talking about? It's too late. He'd still be streaming on his own channel right now.
I know. Come on, what's up, Mega J?
Do it.
Look, everybody wants him to pop on and at least say hello.
Get over here.
And
Yeah,
then
looks like
shut the entire stream down.
Briscoe knows about Collider, yeah.
Yeah, he was saying
And-
it's all different people now.
And Briscoe also will understand Zug Zug Lana, I think. Anybody catch that reference? No? Zug Zug
Not
Lana?
me. No, that one's over me.
That's,
Zug Zug.
I know Zug Zug, but
Yeah.
What's up, Dave?
back in the Warcraft days.
That's a caveman reference when Ringo was in a movie.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Which, because he had mentioned that the caveman is Ringo's masterpiece.
Jesus, I haven't seen that movie since it probably came out. It was on Tubi a
Allison.
month ago, though.
Yeah, well, Tubi's like a wellspring of
Oh yeah,
older film.
I watch Tubi
gold.
more than anything else other than YouTube.
Yeah, Tubi's awesome.
See, come on, Mega J, you need to hop on. One of us, Jay. Here, I'll throw you the personalized link, Jay. I'll throw you the
Throw you a
personalized. I won't even make you dig through the toy network for it. It's coming.
Yeah, Tubi's where I watched that Harryhausen, Sinbad. Those are great, man.
Yep.
Those also stand up.
Oh man, I was
Surprised my
so
10-year-old
glad that
was
they were
so
on
into
there.
them.
Can you bring up Dave to
I
mention
hadn't-
some comment?
I will in just a second here.
Oh, you're sending a link. Okay.
Yeah. This one,
Yeah, it's nice.
it's snowing like crazy here in Buffalo.
He's only
out
about
to
25
California
minutes north
with
of
me.
where I am. It's crazy here.
So I
So
got a question.
also, oh, go ahead.
I got a question for you, Brick.
What's
So
up?
I just got some AWOC figure from Big Bad.
What's AWOC?
I started that. My bad.
Nice.
What about it?
So I got the Onyx and I got the Ash from the Primal Collection.
Nice.
Now I got just the figures. I didn't get with the armament or anything like that. So just as a question, now I did buy one of the armament packets, which is the glow in the dark one, and I really want to use that with Onyx. But as far as the armament, what would you more go with something like that?
You're saying armament, like literally, you mean weapons versus, because there's armor sets now. I don't know if you
Well,
saw that.
Yeah, I've seen that. So I'm looking at the armor sets now, but I'm not sure what would actually go with that glow in the dark.
Oh, to go with the glow in the dark.
Which one you putting it on, John?
Onyx. Onyx and the Beastman, right? The Feral Beasties. Is that what you ended up with?
Not the Primal Collection Ash.
Ash, the gray. Okay. I mean, all the weapons are great. It's just that the glow in the dark ones. What color is the handle?
The
bluish?
on these
Bluish?
are bluish. Yes.
I think there's like a bluish and a gold one that's
Yeah.
really cool, like a bluish greenish one that's beautiful. I want to get those. I still haven't. And then the onyx, because he's so dark, all the brighter ones are gonna look, in my opinion, rad on him.
Hey, Oz, can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah, go for it. I'm also going to share a screen real quick. Look at this guy.
Hey, Mega J.
The
So,
people
John.
called for him, and he never disappoints.
Oh, hey.
going on,
I was like looking around confused. I'm like, what am I?
Were you like
what am I
fast
looking at?
asleep? You had to get up and.
It's funny, you know. I saw I saw you guys streaming. And I'm like, you know, I'll say hi, and you know, I was literally it's like 3:15 over here, so I was thinking, you know, maybe I'll. I can't, you know, there are a lot of great people here, so I was like, you know what, I'll just say hi and you know,
You mean the best?
can't compete.
You know,
with
you
everybody here,
always.
so you know, I was like, all right, let me say hi and then I'll log off. But you know, Oz being
Say
Oz,
hi. Shut down the stream.
I'll just hang out with you for a little bit. I can't hang out for too long. So.
Sure, of course. All right, here we
Good
go.
to see you.
How
You
is-
missed
how
the
is
heat-
everybody?
There was a nice, fun, lively debate about the McFarlane conversation that I was watching you all have yesterday.
Yeah, that was, oh my god. You know, just
We had a version of it here.
everybody's talking about it now. You know, it's just it's not going to be the norm. It's not going to happen. But I mean,
I don't think
everything will eventually come somewhere, right? But I figure he's just testing the waters. But what really got me was when Lawrence had that aha moment, and he was like, because they put a tweet out saying it's only $24.50. We're like, all of us are scratching
The
our heads.
fifth
How the
figure.
hell does that math even work? We're all trying to figure out. Then he says, oh, the Build-A-Figure is $24.50 if you divide it by 5. And we're like, what the hell? And then we, you know, it works out if you take the 10% discount from the bundle pack, and then you divide it by 5. But there are only 4 figures. It was the dumbest math you've ever heard in your life. It was like, what the hell's going on?
Well,
Anyway,
I don't know if you guys have ever heard Big Papa Pump's math.
Yep.
For anybody who's a wrestling fan who's ever heard that, that's where they did their math from. That's where they got it from.
Probably.
That one is an interesting amount of math that makes my brain hurt so hard.
You know, today's math is even worse.
The thing about that is, Oz, if you actually add the numbers up, he's right, but he's right for the wrong reasons.
Well, that was the whole point of
that hidden fifth. Yeah.
He's a 33 and a third chance.
Hey, you got nothing to apologize for, Chris. If you're halfway serious, just to be clear.
Wait, first off, yeah, I highlighted this because I want to bring this up. You never, ever have anything to apologize for. Not here. You say what you say. Like, you know, we're not going to
say it proud.
That's
exactly. Right. Your behavior was absolutely fine. Defend what you like with a passion, no matter what.
Yeah.
The only thing I want to apologize to Chris for is the fact he didn't do a hair flip tonight.
I was gonna say no hair flip.
Exactly.
Right.
We got a little one. We had
that was a lame one. We needed the stars behind him and all that stuff going on.
That's right. We need the fireworks, the hair flip. So Stanley's Toy is asking what new toys we picked up, and he picked up the AEW Pop Entrance stage at Ross for $8. So we've had everybody showing off their Dark Wolf from this week. Go ahead, Thanos. Pop that guy back up. That Vorgus Vermilion. Oof. Gosh, that's a gorgeous fig.
Yeah,
And,
Vorgus is amazing. I love that figure.
Yeah, he's super
I
cool.
opened up a whole
Which I
bunch
love
of
saying that
those.
because I actually own a figure now.
You own two. You own two of the
I own
best of
two.
this year.
Yeah. They're proudly sitting on my
I
shelf
got these
here.
two guys for a birthday present.
Oops, sorry.
Ooh, yeah. Those new caps. Cap
Captain
goodies.
America.
Got that America all over the place.
That's right.
Cap Puerto Rico.
I don't know if did I ever share this guy on the show?
No.
I mean, I've had it. I've had it for a month, but
Is that Yolo Park?
This is the Yolo Park one.
That's nice.
It's
Yeah.
my
Mm.
only
gorgeous model kit.
It's so cool.
I want one of those because they look really cool, but like my brain's just like, if it doesn't transform, I don't want it. Transformers got to transform.
I mean, it looks cool, but I hear you.
It does.
And the other thing is,
I
it's
know.
Megatron, though. What you gonna do
You
with
know,
Megatron? You gonna
I
run
don't
around
disagree. Transformers got to transform, but
chased
if
by
I
a
was
police
to ever
officer?
buy, if I was to ever
Yeah.
buy a non-transforming Transformer, it would be that
Yeah.
over Project.
The red, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So
Just terrible.
we're all flexing. And you
Are we
still haven't
flexing?
opened
Like,
up that
what's the
Jacob
problem?
Marley?
I just got it on Tuesday.
Everybody's
It
flexing.
just like all my toys showed up at school. Well, because he was asking for the toys.
Yeah.
Rick, I got him standing flying pretty good now. I'm cool like you.
What's that?
With that stand. I got
Oh
him
yeah, that looks good,
A
Jake.
bunch of new Ghostbusters, and I showed that I
man.
can store
Hell
just about
yeah.
all of it in the
display some
active.
stuff properly.
Oh, Oz, I was going to ask you. So that's the 2001 Ecto, right? Or not 2001, 2021.
Right.
That's the one from Afterlife.
Yes.
Do the Kenner Classic figures fit in there?
Not
No?
well. Not
Okay. Because I was looking at it on Amazon. I was like, well, if I ever got a Ecto 1, would I? But I do like the Kenner Classic figures.
I got the new Call Me Chris selfie series from Hasbro. So the new Cali figure definitely just
Which only 4 people here will get, probably.
I can only see this as Call Me Chris now. But
Yeah. Thanks, Oz.
you're welcome.
Totally just ruined that figure. Well, actually, no, it
ruin
didn't
it at
ruin it.
all.
No.
What
Call
is
me,
that?
Call me Chris is funny, but it's just like now I just like cannot not see that.
Here, I want to show this figure before we end or close because so this is a custom that I want to pull out. It came in this awesome
That's right.
3D resin print thing because the person who prints these, you've probably heard me talk about Micronauts, which is one of my favorite toy lines
the
from back in the day. Fanigan Collectibles, Abe Froman. He goes by Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago. He has sort of been on the just trying to make Micronauts happen, and he and his son have been designing their take on 6-inch Micronauts with sort of more modern articulation. And then since the O-ring thing has sort of become a little bit of an O-ring resurgence, they're actually doing O-ring figures now, smaller O-rings as well.
Right.
So this is their custom, their toy, 3D printed resin.
Which means be
Bug.
careful with it.
Yeah, I already saw. Unfortunately, one of his antennas didn't quite make it intact.
Oh,
It's okay.
sorry to
It's
hear that,
cool.
Brett.
I mean, no. I mean, I feel bad for Ray.
Little dab of glue.
Work of art, man.
Oh wow.
So he and his son are doing this, man. This is Bug.
That looks awesome.
Micronauts, man, from Marvel's
is.
take on
That totally makes me think of an old school Common Rider.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like Kamen Rider. Like,
if you've ever seen Bug from the Marvel comics,
Yes.
yeah, and he's still a Marvel character, he's still a Marvel Universe character because he was unique to the.
If it wasn't for the
comics
little like
rather than
waist skirt, I'd say Common Rider, Amazon or something.
Just cool to me. Again, example of like just a person, him and his son. I mean, his son was just learning like the software, and
Right.
they just, let's make action figures.
One thing I would definitely get, like speaking just of comics, like Marvel comics that we don't see anymore, that I know we've brought it up here a couple of times. I want to see a Marvel Legends ROM Space Knight, right? And you would think it makes sense, right? Because Hasbro owned the toy rights. Now they do Marvel figures.
Yep.
Marvel had the comics. So, God, I still remember like one of my old comics in my collection was it was a two-parter, and I could only find the first part, but it was ROM Space Knight and the X-Men. And we're talking like, Kitty Pryde and everything. It was amazing.
That's where we got the Brood from.
Yeah.
I want to say, isn't that where we got the Brood from?
No,
Maybe
because
not.
they had the
No,
Wraiths.
those are the Wraiths. The Wraiths.
Right? They had the Dire
Wraiths. Dire Wraiths.
Yeah, man. Like, honestly, like, I really, really wish we could get that again. And I would definitely
Marvel
buy
just do a deal with Hasbro, though, where they can do the comics again.
They did a deal where they can reprint
the
old comics, and then it's
Well, I'd
still
be down to
unknown
buy
as to
those.
whether or not they can actually make new Micronauts comics, but they still have their like this character Bug is still in Marvel 616 universe, but they have to call him Microns. They can't call them Micronauts.
Call them Micronauts. Okay.
I don't know if that's changing or not.
And that's like honestly not too far of a stretch, though, right? Calling it Micron versus Micronaut. I'd be down.
Which is why in Ant-Man Quantumania, why they had to call it the Quantumverse versus
right.
Yes, and I was just gonna say I heard Bill talking
ROM.
about his ROM figure.
That's cool.
I love
so cool.
What are you asking for it, Bill?
$400 cash.
I ain't gonna lie, it's worth every penny of that too. Like I remember,
seriously, that's what we were talking about on the show tonight, is getting rid of stuff in the collection. I have had this figure for probably 6-7 years, and I've had him out of the box a total of one time, and it does work. It's got everything in it.
That's one of my brother's grails because my parents wouldn't buy it for him. As that and the Xenomorph, the old.
Oh, big chap. Yeah.
That thing's got to be $1,000 though. That thing.
Oh, Big Chap, the original one? Yeah.
That'd be $1,000.
That thing, oh man. I mean, I don't care. Like NECA kind of like remade theirs.
I will tell you, the ad on the back of ROM #1 is a much
That's
better.
a kid's
than
show. What are you doing?
This toy.
Yeah.
I will say I prefer the. I know you're trying to sell it. My bad, but I prefer the design that ended up on the Marvel comics.
Absolutely, and I'm gonna tell you the picture of the Space Knight here on the box cover is much better than what they actually produced inside here.
Yeah.
So,
and that was like
an
electronics company.
Now
Was
that
it?
Mom never bought me one of these.
Parker's
I
Brothers.
begged for it when I was a kid. I would have been sorely disappointed had I actually got this, but this was one of my grails at one time, and I still like it, but it's not something to play with.
Mm-hmm.
Like I totally remember, like, and mind you, I was reading ROM Space Knight comics in the 90s. And like I'd went out and bought the, you can find them at like yard sales, comic book shops. They were like, super cheap, like a nickel. And so like I would always try to get as many of them as I could, especially when I would find in sequential order, because like I said, I had one of them with the X-Men, but then I didn't have the other one after that, right? But Dude, I totally remember looking at the ads for that toy and being like, "Ooh, I want the neutralizer and everything else." And
Yeah, I'd be glad you didn't get one.
Why is that?
The ROM Space Knight, it's a
Double-jointed.
sad little toy. That's all I gotta say. I mean,
Okay.
a
I've
bad
heard, yeah.
articulation, not a whole lot of play value there, but
right. But for somebody who's a fan to have that sitting on their shelf, like, the price you're asking for is totally valid. Like, it's a good solid price because it is a hard to find toy.
and
Especially as good a
the box
condition.
is not in the greatest of shape, but it's in decent shape, and it's not in tatters or anything.
Real quick, I just
I'm
want
gonna
to
be honest, Bill. That's the first.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah, Bert.
Oz. I was just gonna say Micronauts are famous for this port. Like the Micronauts had all interchangeable parts, and he kept that same port size here. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of cool. They were
Cool.
popping and swapping way back in the day. Good articulation too. It's a trip, man. Again, just somebody just looking at other figures and
You
a
know,
lot of test prints.
seeing that 3D printed, fully articulated action figure makes me remember something that someone who says all kinds of crap online said. He said, "You'll never see 3D printed action figures." He also said some other things at the beginning of last year that turned out not to be true as well. No names mentioned. Mega J knows who I'm talking about.
I think we all know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true.
There he
I mean,
is. Yeah.
there's tolerances and stuff that won't work, and they are fragile. We might get there with materials as they get out, but definitely got to be careful with this guy.
You're right. Like when you do like that regular resin and stuff like that, that tends to break, right? But I mean, like again, if you're looking like a Ghostbusters fan, you're looking at Phantasm toys, right? Everything they do is resin, and Tony Taylor and Beducci been doing amazing work on those. Now, mind you, you're not going to play with them and bang them around like we would back in the day. You just don't want to do that to them. But they do. Yeah, see, there you go. The Terror Tub, that's all resin.
Yeah,
but
it's great. I love it.
You can get stuff called like flex resin or tough resin, and it costs a little bit more. But it definitely has the durability. Like that's where you'll get the stuff that can kind of flex. And but Mothman's asking, what happened to Bella's toy chest? I liked her reviews.
What? Really?
That's what Mothman's saying. He liked Bella's toy chest reviews.
I'm not. Is that a channel?
Okay, sure. I liked it too. Absolutely, it was entertaining as hell.
Did you like the reviews or did you like her toy chest?
I choose to keep that on under breath for now.
I think I can probably already figure out what it's about.
Straight, right?
I love those reviews. Sure, the reviews are
here.
Wonderful.
Jay, I wanted to thank you one more time, Jay. As I say in person, not in person, but face to face. I know I've thanked you a few times, but man, thanks so much again for last weekend. Just give me a little shout out and stuff.
Brother, what are you talking about?
Quite a weekend last weekend. You're a big part of it, so thanks again.
No, brother, what are you talking about? I got to thank you. Your review was amazing. All right, don't. It's the other way around. You're talking about yourself. You know what I mean? Like that's just the truth, right? We wouldn't.
Yeah, man, you really like blowing up.
It was absolutely amazing.
I was going to say you were shouted out earlier for that growth.
Yeah, not many people have the courage to do what you did. Honestly, there's a lot of people who just would be like, what, like if it's not supposed to come off, it's supposed to come off, and there's going to be a reason for it.
I can't even take credit for that. Allison hit me up before I even did the video and said, "Hey, when you do that, see if the armor comes off."
Oh, there you go. See. So, you got permission.
Credit goes up here.
Just asked for feedback. He's like, "I'm going to do this review. Do you have any questions?" And I'm like, "Well," and I did. And
there you
go. It worked out.
See, the community comes together, and Allison's reviews, all Absolutely. Everyone should. You know what? Here's the thing. Everybody should be subscribing to. No, please. You didn't have. This is a kids channel. What the hell, dude?
This is not a kids
What are you
channel.
doing? What are you doing?
This is not a kids channel.
Was that the Bella thing
Bill,
that
what
folks
are you
were talking
doing?
about?
Oh my god.
No, that's just
No, that's
Bill.
just Bill's thumbnail to get
oh.
popularity.
Oh my god.
Oh my
I
god.
heard that name.
You need to watch my channel sometime. I
All right.
did this last year to get clickbait going, making fun of
Bill,
the old
I
multiverse channel over there.
Bill, you don't look
I
anything
take
like
your-
your thumbnail.
I take
No,
your
that-
toy
that-
chest.
I had them here, and my wife
Are you
made them leave.
catfishing
There's a
us?
video on my channel.
Bill, I take your toy chest, and I raise you Bobby's bare nipple.
Oh no!
Bud, did you?
He's not here to defend
Oh,
himself.
yikes.
Come on.
This is
That's kind
toy
of down.
channel. It's degraded, like What debauchery? How dare you? How dare you? Oh.
I mean, he did have it live, so
Yeah, you got to be careful.
He
You don't
did.
wanna-
People are gonna use it.
you
Yeah, gotta be careful.
Hey, look, there's a whole reason that
trigger
I completely removed last week's stream from everybody's channel.
Yep.
I heard something about that
guess we
when I
missed
had.
that.
Yeah, what was up with that?
I doxed myself last week and then not only realized that it was on my channel, but everybody's channel we simulcasted to. So I had to actually reach out to everybody and ask them, like, either pull it off or edit it. Because even if I edit everybody else's channel, it's still on.
I wasn't here last week.
Oh, thank God that you were streaming when something else happened a while back.
Yeah, that was before those days. So, we weren't doing the simulcast back then, but
I almost had an incident today, but
oh no, Brick.
Don't break your figure.
Oh no, he wasn't talking about that. He was talking about something else.
no, people in the chat being stupid.
Well, we had that
Yeah.
here tonight too. So
That didn't last long when the wrench got
Yeah.
waved at him.
no, even before that, we had somebody start spelling out a nice NIG word. And,
Oh no!
Really?
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
One
yeah.
letter at a
Took it
time for
out
each.
one letter
each
at a
input,
time.
yeah.
Yep. So got
You're
him
attracting
removed
him
and
for some
banned.
reason. What's up
Well,
with that?
I've got one particular person who doesn't like me, and they still like to troll stuff. So, yeah, but that one person got removed, and then you're right. As soon as a wrench popped up over on Aaron's channel, suddenly that other guy wasn't so brave anymore to start saying stuff.
That was too funny. Have you seen my rich?
Yep.
I saw that. I laughed at it. I went over there. I tried to find his channel, but it doesn't exist.
No.
Yeah, he's not.
Most of them don't.
No,
It's
most of
an
them don't.
alt
They're
account.
just troll channels.
Yeah. Like,
I had to go and remove. He found my channel, and I went and did some shit earlier. So,
Yeah, people are just
Yep.
stupid. People are
I
dumb.
just don't play with that crap, And even if you think you're safe not being on my channel, but going on to somebody else's and doing it, I'm a wrench for just about everybody's channel on here. So, and I've got no qualms about being quick with that ban hammer. Mega J knows I've banned people on his channel.
Oh my god!
of
Oh,
which-
were you there when I had open mic night? I learned pretty quick not to do that again.
Well, that was one of our first streams
Yeah.
together.
That was
actually,
like-
was
You
that
learned?
open
Well,
mic
you didn't
night.
teach Oz, so
I was there for it. and I just
Learn from
repeated.
Oz.
It was
One of my very first live streams was on Mega J's channel. Skelly and I had just started doing the show. I don't even think we were doing it. Like, we hadn't even got to the third episode yet. and Mega J had an open mic night, so I jumped on. That was actually the first night that I shared screen time with Ray Black because she jumped on.
Oh, cool.
And then we jumped on with another Ray. And, well, that whole thing's gone down. But, oh, man, that was a very, very interesting night, Jay. That was definitely an interesting night.
I don't think I've seen that much skin in chat that in a chat that didn't get shut down. I was like, what the f is going on?
And then I decided I was going to try my hand at it, and then just was kind of like letting people. I had learned partially, but not quite enough. And even when saying, "All right, you've got to be on camera and join in," some people still managed to get through because they were like, very convincing what they were showing on camera as them. But hey, it was a prolapse in judgment, as Allison coined it. And
do me a favor, Oz.
what you need, brother?
Do me a favor, Oz. Since I'm fixing to go to bed, hop over there on the stream that's going on, dual stream on my channel real quick in the chat so that I can give you a wrench.
Sure, Bill. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so, and you're going to have to teach me the, what was the thing you guys were saying about the bow on Dark Wolf?
Oh, the drawback thing, there's like
Yeah.
a little gap in the fingers, so you
It's
can like
loading,
plug the end in. Cobb fed the arrow all the way through, but that seems risky.
Yeah, it is. Taking it back out was a pain.
Yeah, don't put the full
Wait.
arrow through there.
So
Just
you're
the
saying,
Just the tip.
I did.
oh, because
but-
there's two between the two fingers.
Yeah, there's like
at
a
first I
small
just put
little
the
gap.
feather, but then you can actually put the end of the arrow, the little stick part sticking out too, so it can be really accurate.
Oh, you're saying don't put the shaft in, put the feather part.
That's what she said.
Well, no, that's
But
what I
you're-
did at first, but
But you're saying to put this part. Adam highly articulated said that whatever the name of these things were, right? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
Put these between the
fetching.
fingers.
the fetcher,
Fletching.
Fletching,
Yeah,
fletching.
the little
Fletching.
part that sticks out the back, you can
yeah,
slide in
the
between
very
the fingers.
end of it, you
Oh, the
could
very end of
wedge in there
it.
too.
Got it.
That's where you would hold it by if you're really doing it right. Yeah.
Are the fingers? Are they all? They're completely glued together at the tip, right?
Yeah, the tips of them are, but then this spot right here,
Yeah,
there's like
it's
a
a
little.
Just the tip.
Just
You put
just
the tip in the little gap, Brick. That's all you got to do.
just
What I did earlier was
Just the tip.
Just
I
the
put the
tip.
whole arrow through there from the back, but it was a pain getting it
little
out.
tip between the fletching. That's all you need.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Just the tip. He said tip.
Yeah. Just the tip.
Right. You guys are a bunch
Everybody
of
going for the tip.
dirty old people, is what you are.
I'll never deny. I mean, what?
Ish.
I mean, you've seen
How many
my
of these
Instagram.
clubhouses have you been on, Brick?
Right?
The
was
Speaking
just saying that
voice
was
leader
illegal.
says, "Nah, put the whole damn thing through. Put the whole damn thing through."
from the back.
Just be careful
From
that way.
that.
That's pretty cool. That's cool.
I gotta say, yeah, that's pretty impressive. And anybody who's got the D&D toy, we need to know if this helps or if that works. Like that kind of. Oh, Thanos, you got him right.
Which D&D toy?
Hank.
What's his face? Hank. Thank you.
What do you mean?
I don't think he has holes in his fingers.
No,
Yeah.
he doesn't, does he?
Mm-mm.
Is there a way to get him into a bow and arrow?
Right either.
You can kind of like fudge it, but you can't get him to hold it like properly. Like,
No. Well, honestly, we used to have the same problems, right? Like the way the stormtroopers used to hold their blasters, you could never
you
get
can
it into
kind of have them hold it like down, but like if you want him to like hold it up, it just doesn't work.
doesn't
Yeah,
work.
they couldn't even get him to hold it right in the picture on the front.
Yeah,
And that says it all. Even back here on the back, he's still not holding it right.
that's what I'm saying. You can kind of do it like that, and then that's about as good as you're gonna get it.
Yeah,
He
and
can
that's
shoot
not
the
right.
dirt.
I think the only picture I think I've taken a couple pictures with him, but like one of them I had him up on some rocks so it looked like he was aiming down,
Best way to pose it.
Yeah.
So I will say, out of all the little finger puppet ghost companions, the Slimer is definitely my favorite.
Is that the one you can stretch?
Yeah, the Ectotech.
There you
Now,
go.
it doesn't stretch nearly as much as they show on the packaging. Like, it really doesn't. But I gotta
What is
say,
the feel of that material?
oh, it's just like squishy rubber. That's it. Like, if you've ever had like a little squishy toy from like a gumball machine or anything, that's all it is.
Is it the kind where like it would attract a lot of hair and crap?
I'm sure it would. So dust regularly.
That reminds me of the wacky wall crawlers. You throw them on the wall and they crawl down the
Yeah.
wall and they
Those
hit
are
the
Not
floor and they'll
quite
make
that
the wall
tacky,
again
though.
after that.
Yeah, I would hope it wouldn't be that sticky.
Yeah, it's not quite that tacky. No, they've definitely thought of that.
And it's like super elastic too.
Yeah, because like you got to be able to stretch him a good bit, but he doesn't stretch out to the point where he can get as thin and as transparent as they show on the packaging.
You need to head
At
over
least-
to Super Action Stuff, Oz, and get some food
There you
for
go.
that Slimer.
Oh, I will be. And when I eventually get the new Ecto one, I'll have another one, and I'm going to see if it's the same exact one as this, or if it's a slightly different version. But that one also has the stretch tech. So I'll get a new drone trap, and I will get a second Slimer. But I'm really happy about this Slimer right here. And it's just the one that comes with the simple $10 figure. Now, surprisingly enough, though, it seems that the Paul Rudd figure is the hard one to find out of all of these.
That makes sense, though. Paul Rudd is
Really?
pretty fucking popular.
Oh, yeah, he definitely is. And he's definitely got the most sex appeal out of all of the... Well, considering two of them.
Ant-Man did a head flop.
We were talking about actual kids' toys, though, right? So
Yes, we're talking about actual kids' toys.
I think we've gone a little bit far off of the mark here.
Slimer.
Oh, we travel way beyond that every
Yeah,
time.
good stuff.
Look, Ken's here. He says still kind of awake.
Only kind of.
Only kind of.
Ken. I
only
shouldn't
mid-
even be here, but I'm here because there's just too many legends in this group, and I had to be part of that. So
Better that he's tired and not drunk and getting into the wrong vehicle.
Form of transportation.
Yeah, getting into the wrong type of mass transportation and getting lost in Canada. His own town, too. Going in the wrong direction. Basically, Ken was almost human trafficked last week while live on the air with us.
what the hell? Are you talking about?
He had a couple of drinks.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Somebody roofied Ken. Is that what?
He roofied
Mistake.
Okay,
so
stay
you-
in chat so you get home.
Mistake the taxi for a bus.
Are you kidding?
Nope.
Wow,
No.
Ken, you gotta calm down there, buddy.
So, one thing I will say about this pink one, though, I like that it's like this. It's like a jack-o'-lantern trash bag.
Have the fright features shown up yet?
So, yes, there was a Winston, and I neglected to pick him up tonight because it was really just getting these three figures. It was a birthday present from Ziggy. But yeah, this is like a jack-o'-lantern trash bag. So, fright features are definitely out there. And apparently they're out there so much that you can buy them for like $100 on eBay right now. Or what was it? What did it say? 75? That's what it was.
I
75.
haven't gotten them yet. And I went to a few Targets last week.
I saw, like I said, I saw Winston today myself, like in person. I saw him. Geek Dad Life Jay, he picked up, I think I saw he had Egon and Peter. So I mean, they are out there. You can get them, and those are Target exclusive. You can't get them online, and they'll be Target exclusive for the next couple of months. So Ken is pulling up this point here that even though he went to the wrong place, he did come back with a really good condition turtle layer last week. Like stickers, everything. So, I mean, I guess it was worth the mistransportation. All right. And so I've been told by Stanley's Toy Channel, the Slimer is the same. And Slimer also comes with the new Ecto one. Yep. Well, the Ecto one's already out, Eldor. I saw it in store today, too. I just passed on it. And there is a Slimer with it. I was wondering if it was slightly bigger or not, since it comes with the...
Is it the same? Is it the same toy as the one that you have?
It's the Ecto one itself is, yes. It's like pretty much the same as this, but I've been told there are some stickers that extend the red line now.
Okay.
That was just discussed earlier tonight.
Subtle differences.
Right. Subtle differences from this one. And it comes, so like this Ecto one came with that RC trap that they had from the last movie in Afterlife. And the new one comes with a drone trap that can actually plug in the hole on the top.
Got it.
How much are those fright features in Target right now?
Fright features are $14.99 a piece. And the regular figures, like the ones I picked up, are $9.99 a piece.
That's actually, I was surprised because
that's a good price, especially considering that they have action features that work.
Yeah, that's what really surprised me. I was shocked because I remember the first real Ghostbusters were about the same price. I think they were closer to $15 or something like that. They're not cheap.
They ended up being sold for like next to nothing on a couple of different websites.
Ollie's had them. Yeah. Ollie's had the entire Kenner collection for it was $3.99 a piece, and that was for all four of the ghosts, all four of the Ghostbusters. You can get them at Ollie's for like $3.99 a piece. They had the Plasma Series slime covered, which were originally sold as an exclusive 4-pack to San Diego Comic-Con. And they had those individually boxed at $7.99 a piece at the same time. They did not get the Ecto 1 at Ollie's. That never came there. But Walmart did clearance it out for like $20 shortly after they got it.
Mine. That's where I got mine.
Big Bad had them up cheap for a while too.
Now they've gone back up in price, and I'm mad I didn't get the Kenner Classics Ecto 1 when it was on the cheap because I really, really wish I had. And so Stanley's saying that he saw Egon at his Target. Now, as a kid, I had Egon, Winston. I don't know if I had Ray. I think I may have had Ray, and I know I had Venkman. So, like, I had the Fright Features ones of them as a kid, which is why it was a big deal for me to get this set of the regular Ghostbusters with the Proton Packs, because those are the ones I wanted as a kid but never got. Yeah. But now what also makes this a big deal to get the Fright Features ones is those were my childhood toy Ghostbusters. Were those
nostalgia? You're paying the nostalgia taxes, Grindhead Jim would say.
Yeah, well, my house burned down and robbed me of all my childhood toys. So, so many other people have their childhood toys in one way or another. Like, you may still have one from when you were a kid. I don't have any of them. And not a single one survived that house fire. So this is a good way for me to get those.
Yeah, we're pretty blessed that the resurgence of 80s toys is happening right now. Like, how often does that happen? It's almost never.
Right.
For anybody who's looking here in Canada, I was expecting it to show up at Toys R Us because usually Target used to go to Toys R Us, but shockingly, I ended up finding them at GameStop.
I was going to ask if maybe you would see them at GameStop because I know sometimes the Target exclusives you guys see there. So, okay, in Canada, you can definitely get Fright Features at GameStops. Now, there we go. I was going to say, does it have the price?
Yeah, it's surprisingly they're actually very affordable because the exchange rate's about right. Because you guys said it was like $12, $14, something like that.
Right.
So, yeah, they're about I really love the fact that they do have their fright feature because I was not expecting them to actually get that in there.
Yeah, to get the actual
Yeah,
features.
that's what I was saying. You got a reasonably priced toy that actually has a working action feature in it for $14, $15. I mean, that's reasonable.
Unheard of.
Well,
Absolutely.
and that was
Are those
even.
I was just gonna ask, did they create new molds for those, or are they using the
Yeah.
old kind of
Yeah,
molds?
they have. There's no
No,
way.
they've got to use.
Oh
the
yeah,
new-
that's right.
Brand new
There's no way
mold,
they would
but
use.
I'm wondering how subtle the differences are, Jay.
I guess
don't
we'll
know.
have to find out because I know a toy store here that has some of the vintage ones. So if I end up picking up and when I grab these new Fright Features ones, I guess I'll have to compare them to some of the vintage. Just buy like a couple because again, those Fright Features ones tend to be a bit cheaper than most of the other old Ghostbusters figures. Just because, I mean, well, mind you, if they're not broken in some way, right? Because I know my Egon, like his tie that popped up, that thing broke off. But just comparison wise, I shouldn't be able to pick up like one or two just to compare pretty cheap.
I've got a full set of those vintage figures loose over here in one of these tubs that I filled up week before last, and I never opened the ones that came out here recently to compare them, but I have seen them compared online. The proton packs don't work on from the new figures to the old ones. And there are some subtle differences in the molds.
Right. And that doesn't shock me because again, right, like you don't have that exact. You're not going to have an exact one-to-one.
You shouldn't have scumbags going to eBay trying to sell the new figures as vintage, right? So there should be
but
some.
you do. Fortunately, if they're packaged, on the card, it's got dates, so you can see, okay, this is not a vintage. And I haven't opened up my Kenner Classics because, like I said, I'm waiting to do it with the. Well, no, I do have my iGhost here.
But the packaging wasn't identical, did they try and really mimic?
Not different.
Yeah, the package is definitely different.
And it doesn't say Kenner on it, so.
And that eye doesn't pop out as good as the vintage one did.
Not
either.
even. No, it doesn't. Well, we found out if you hold it upside down and you do this, that does it.
Oh yeah, well, okay.
But the old one, you didn't have to hold upside down. I remember because this was one of my favorite toys. This was one of my favorite ghosts. That's why when I saw him at Ollie's, like I immediately bought him. I was like, yes. And the sculpt is different too.
I will say this. I think that the vintage packaged figures that they released look better hanging in their packages than they do outside the packages. I've never opened mine, and I'm an open guy. I open my stuff usually.
So the second demon head too that was on his back, that is also slightly different sculpted than the original one was. So he sits over here, my fearsome flush.
I like fearsome flush.
He was always fun.
I have an original one somewhere still. It's boxed.
I'll have to find that old toy hunt video where I actually bought fearsome flush wild in the wilds, and my wife was like, "Why are you buying that?" And I'm like, "Fearsome flush."
Right? Look, everybody needs a toilet that can eat your booty. Ooh. This guy, he's one of my cool. Like, honestly, I really like these kind of companion ghosts. Now, I will say this one, like, you see how the legs there, and like I put him in the Ecto one, so he was riding shotgun before. Mm-hmm. I will say he's a little hard to balance because he is so wobbly and stuff. Like, it doesn't take much to have him lean forward and just be too top heavy, and he falls over. But yeah, most of this stuff going to go on the glow in the dark shelf. Even though, again, these guys don't necessarily glow in the dark. I'm going to take some of those wonderful tombstones, and maybe I'll have to get a grass mat like what Thanos was showing off earlier. Roll out some grass. make like a graveyard scene with a little Sleepy Hollow card back from Nate Barch and set up my glow in the dark shelf, kind of like a cemetery. Have some glow in the dark skeletons coming
Dashed
out.
you to put Briscoe's comment up. I dashed you.
I will. I'll put it up there. A toilet to eat your creamy shits. Because we all know, instead of saying Merry Christmas, you tell people creamy shits.
That's right.
And again, if you guys have
Look
not
at
seen
Jake
that
like, what
little
have I
short,
walked into?
Yeah, I'm used to it by now.
right? Right? Mega J's been around from the start with this channel. He knows his crap.
That was
So-
funny when I put that in the clubhouse chat, Oz.
Yeah, because
we talked about it. Like I'd seen it, but then it just popped up again like a week later. I was like, oh my god.
yep, creamy shits.
How was that?
So I found a 2-pack of a black light strip that I can put and mount to the bottom of a shelf so that it will have the desired glow effect from all my glowy toys.
Speaking of inappropriate Christmas stuff, I forgot that I got this for Moss Man.
Oh, whoa, what the hell?
Got some Grinch haters.
I've got big balls. You've got big balls.
Where's that
Came in
from?
super late.
Apparently, Mossy's got the biggest balls of them all.
Yeah,
Apparently.
that'll be fun.
I can't
Want
wait
me
to
to
see
flock
it.
the rest of it for you, Thanos, so they match?
Yeah, you can shave them.
What are you gonna do?
How
Like some
funny.
forced perspective kind of thing?
I'm not sure yet, but I'm gonna try to make them look like they're his. And
Mm-hmm.
Look,
set
look.
something up.
Don't
We're not going
let
to do
CP
forced
Jason
perspective.
see
It's gonna be,
those.
we won't be doing
Don't let
forced.
CP Jason see those. We'll see Moss Man again on Mr. Home Arcade's channel.
Right? We're not going to have forced perspective. It will be consensual.
Oh
Nah.
no! Somebody saved my balls.
I was just about to say we'll have we'll definitely have Ted do the voice.
Eat my green salty balls instead of chocolate.
That's right.
Salty
Speaking
balls.
moistly, said they're pine nuts. Oh no, where did Bud go?
In the corner?
Oh no, he's back.
Oh, he's back.
He's there.
Oh
Modern
no, it's
buddy.
John.
John?
No, I actually see.
No, John. Yeah, it was John that dropped off. Hold on a sec. It's not allowing.
Yeah, I was like,
It says they will need to connect their mic and cam before you can add them to the stream. Oh, cool. It's automatically making me do that now. I can't just add them. Let that be a lesson to all of you.
I have the power.
No, I didn't actually do anything. I guess John got some bad connection or something because it's not allowing it.
yeah,
Tony, no. Come on, Tony.
Go to bed, you lunatics.
Actually,
Come
you know
on,
what,
Tony.
Tony. I think Tony's got the right idea. I gotta get up in the morning, so I'm gonna try not to kill the stream. Let's see if I can do that here. Let's see what happens. But
oh shit.
it's good to see everybody.
In
Happy
case
New
we
Year.
wrap it
Jay.
all up
Jay.
for the night,
Later, man.
Ronan.
Good journey, Jay. Thank you for stopping
All
by.
right, Jay.
Thank you guys, and again, everybody here's a legend. Subscribe to everybody here, guys. This is a great community, and of course,
Really is.
yeah, guys. Have a good night. We'll see you soon.
See you,
Geek
Jake.
Proud Mega J.
Geek proud, guys. Good night. Don't kill the stream.
I
Don't kill the
think
stream.
Wait.
Wes is having a little bit of trouble there.
I think so. I was waiting for him to say, "Oh shit," and then he was just going to end the stream.
Hey, what's
Spinning.
what's that thing keeps popping up I see on Instagram? The Duolingo bird.
What?
What?
Oh no, I keep saying,
What?
oh no, they killed the Duolingo bird. Oh no, I say this one because it's like green fuzzy chicken legs. It looks like Moss Man. I've seen a few other memes now. It says, oh no, they cooked the Duolingo bird.
Well, the Duolingo is an app, and they do have
Yeah.
a green bird. So
Okay.
I
Now I
kept
get
seeing
it.
things about that bird, and it was always like green bird parts, but I had no idea.
All right. So Mothman is looking for some links. Let me just drive on over to everybody's channel here.
Is
So our good man,
and Mothman related?
probably. They both are similar to Sasquatch.
But Sasquatch is real.
That's true. Well,
You
so's the
saying
Mothman.
Mothman isn't real?
Mossman's real.
Mothman is totally.
Mothman is the realest motherfucker out there.
All right, so I'm dropping the links. Unfortunately, it's only dropping them into my chat. I don't know why it's not dropping them into everybody's chat. But everybody who's simulcasting.
Yeah, it might be
You
because you don't have.
should be dropping into any channel if you've got the wrenches in.
Yeah.
I don't know because
What?
I typed in here and it only typed on my channel earlier. I was like
I
responding.
didn't simulcast
Yeah.
tonight, so
I think mine too. When I commented earlier, it only popped up once instead of doing it like 3 or 4 times. Or
It
whatever.
definitely only popped up once for me. Thank you, Bud. Bud is dropping everybody's links for everybody. Thank you, brother.
Oh,
I'm
shoot.
making
How
somebody
long
a
ago did,
wrench. I spend it more just for live streams,
Obi-Wan.
right?
Oh, I
You
didn't
know,
realize
Obi-Wan-
we were
monitor.
focused mine.
Obi-Wan is asking if you're picking up 1 or 2 bears. We had this conversation a little bit earlier in the stream, and we've got Brick convinced he's getting 2.
I think he moved
Was
me.
tomorrow the last day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
one grizzly bear, one tenderheart bear, right, Brooke?
And Obi-Wan, the Obi-Wan
20 hours left?
Chingones, if you're still there, yeah, worst comes to worst, I sell it and I got it at the pre-order price and can probably at least make my money back. Just you're wondering, logic wise.
Bud, you are an absolute legend, my brother.
Hey, Brick, what was going on last weekend where I couldn't post links? Do you know?
Yeah, I actually never followed up with you. I didn't know if you just weren't. So it
No,
wasn't working?
I said in the chat, like I posted like a couple, but they
Oh,
weren't
I
like
missed
you
it.
couldn't actually link to them, so I didn't know what was going on. So I was like, I didn't want to just keep spamming,
Yeah.
not
I didn't
working.
realize that. I kind of lost sight of the chat. So no, I don't know what was up with that. I didn't realize. Was it giving you errors or just nothing was showing up?
It just wasn't linkable. Like it posted the text of the link, but it wasn't.
Oh, I
linking.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It wasn't hyperlinking.
Yeah.
Hypertext markup language.
I was asking earlier, making somebody a moderator for your channel. That's more just for live streams and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Live streams and premieres. That has no bearing on your regular content.
Yeah, because I haven't dug into that or anything at all. But yeah,
It's basically just for
keep the chat.
Keeping the chat.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
know how to do that.
I know that's why I was like, I don't.
What,
even
adding a
know.
moderator?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't-
When we
I
go
don't do that.
offline, I'll share screen and I'll.
Yeah, it's not
show
that
you guys.
hard.
It's really not.
Just in case I go to bed early one night and someone wants to be, a jackass.
Yep.
That never
Well,
happened.
like with, I was gonna say,
That never
like with
happens.
Pain tonight, right?
Oh yeah, that's a good
okay.
reason too.
Yeah, because if we're doing the simulcast and you leave, I have, and again, I'm not saying this to become a mod on a whole bunch of people's channels because that's not what I'm trying to do. But it's, it does make it difficult if a troll pops up over there. I can't ban somebody on your channel from my chat because they're on your chat. Like tonight, like when we had that one moron one, I had to you remember, like, because I was on my phone at that point, I'd actually back out of the stream again and go bring up YouTube and head over to Aaron's channel for that. And that guy wasn't saying anything by that point anyway.
I think I got it, everyone.
I believe you did, sir. Mothman, you are a legend yourself, sir, for running around and subscribing to all these crazy
wait. I forgot myself.
Thank
I was going to say, you know what, bud? I think you did forget one.
That's fine. Always think of other for himself.
Can't forget. Sign up for My Buddy's Customs.
There you go.
Which I saw that one video I will eventually post. I think I was painting Lady Slither.
Nice. Oh, so did anybody go check out earlier today, our good friends over at Toy Habits, their article posted one of the new comics from the TMNT crossover.
Oh, I didn't see
And
it.
yeah, so they had
Is it the second wave?
pictures of the new mini comic, and there is some really, really cool stuff they're showing off in that. There was we've now seen a mutated merman.
Oh, cool.
And it will have the snake tail.
Now.
Who said that? Did I hear no?
Is it a snake or an eel?
I think they're going for like maybe more eel, but sea snake, whatever. So yeah, there's going to be hopefully a new merman with snake tail coming. Dude, that got me pumped right there. I was like, I'll buy that. Just But
People have
yeah,
been
head
getting
on
that
over to
way,
Toy
right?
Habits website.
So you're thinking it's going to be Lady Slither? Is that?
Well, basically, it's going to be Lady Slither's tail, but it's going to be a
Tail.
merman.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So definitely head on over to Toy Habits website. Check it out. All kinds of new stuff shown off on there for the new mini comic. And I'm pumped up even more.
What time did they do their stream today? They did it this afternoon?
Oh, they didn't do a stream. They did
Oh,
they do their streams on Sundays now.
on Sundays? Okay.
With everybody else.
Sunday is so busy. And I usually drop my stuff on Sunday. I should probably move it to another day. I just kind of got
good on Sunday morning when you drop.
Man, there is no good day. I don't know when that other day would be.
Your best bet would probably be
just
like
put
maybe
your shit up there
Saturday.
and don't worry about it. People will watch
Yeah,
whatever they
exactly.
want.
Yeah.
Right? Like, again, Saturday nights, like Bill stream Saturday nights, I stream Saturday nights.
Well, they're
We're
not,
not competition. If anything, we help each other because we'll tell people, like, go check out Bill, go check out Ozzy. It's just what we do. We try to support each other the best we can.
They're also, though, it doesn't look like their next live stream is scheduled until Monday. So I don't know if that was a mistake or not.
Maybe because Monday's a holiday.
Monday is a holiday. They might
It
both
is a
be
holiday.
off, and there's a lot less people on because, again, even though we were saying there's not as much competition, or we're not competition one another, if there's nobody else on, that's a pretty good time to go.
What holiday is Monday?
Martin Luther
Martin
King
Luther
Day.
King Day. So it's a federal holiday. So anyone.
I mean,
who
I'm
works
still
for
working.
Holy
each
shit!
day
Already into that
federal.
time of that far
Me
into January.
too.
Aren't we? Jesus.
Yep.
It's true.
I haven't messed with Lady Slither much.
Hey, Dad at Arms has popped on.
Oh, hello.
Hey,
Dad at Arms, you
Hey.
are always welcome to join, brother. Let me know. I mean, I know we were going to probably wrap it up soon, but if you want to jump on in, we appreciate it, brother. Dad
Actually,
at
let's not
Arms.
wrap it up soon. Sorry, seeing Dad at Arms reminded me because I saw his thing
Let's
on
get
the
him in here.
trailer, and I wasn't able to. I haven't been on anywhere where we could talk about that Rev trailer.
Oh,
Revolutions.
all right,
trailer.
let's do it. I've talked about it twice this week. I can talk
I
about
know.
it again.
I know,
I
but
can talk
man,
about it
I am
over and over
so
again.
hyped for that thing.
yeah.
I rewatched
Right?
Revelation, and I'm ready for it. What do you? What are folks' takes?
I don't have a take because I haven't watched it yet.
Okay. Or it's not on. This is the trailer. You're talking about you haven't seen the trailer?
No, I haven't seen the trailer.
Okay.
Watch the Revolution trailer.
I don't really know what to think.
There's a lot.
I wish
going
they
on.
hadn't spoiled Randor's death. I dig
weird.
the Tila wielding like both different goddess powers. Like that's super cool.
Right?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell like what's going on in the trailer other than Adam's gonna have to step up, which is cool. I like that. Like my favorite part of the last season was kind of the development of Adam, even though yeah, everybody's like, oh, it wasn't about He-Man. It's like there's a lot of about He-Man on there, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm just bummed that it's like short, and
Yeah,
I'm a
I know,
little
that's
worried that it's the last we're gonna get of it. So
Yeah, that's my suspicion too. And
Uh,
Kevin Smith has sort of said something to that effect. Like nothing confirmed, but also that yeah, it's not super likely. Sorry, Allison.
how spoilery do we want to get? Because like I've had some thoughts around Gweldor and the cosmic key, and the fact that one of the things they talked about was how everyone was kind of mad that like Fisto and Clampchamp and some other people died.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the last time we saw Gweldor was in the '87 movie where he gave, when they sent Julie and Kevin back to Earth, they sent her back the day before her parents died in a plane crash so she could save everyone, and then nobody died. So
Mhm.
like I don't. It may, when Kevin Smith says this is like quote unquote the last time, it doesn't necessarily, like I'm not entirely convinced that at the end of it they're not going to take the cosmic key or whatever and then have Adam go back in time to
I
prevent
really
everything.
hope
stop.
they don't.
So
Even-
I mean, I would rather they didn't, but I could also see like.
So
Go
you're
back
not
to
just
say
talking about
Randor.
Fisto and Clampchamp, but you're just saying everything, including
Everything
Randor.
back to Randor, back to like episode 1 where Adam is killed and everything goes.
Well, I've been talking about that cosmic key. I'm
ballistic,
sure it's gonna be some
with
crazy stuff
with
happening.
like Adam and Tila, and like of course, but then it resets the storyline. So whoever comes next, or if they want to actually do something with New Eternia, it creates a situation where they could, quote unquote, they could send him back even further. So like, I mean, I can't see another reason why they would bring Weld. I mean, not to shade, the figure looks great, but I can't see another reason story-wise why you would bring him in.
I thought they wanted to bring him in because it can kind of counteract the tech that they're up against, and that was like a character they could use that way. Like,
yeah, but I mean, they have plenty of tech characters other than Gweldor. Like it just,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I
we
could be
have the
completely
man
wrong,
Dan at Arms himself.
What's going on, man? Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Hey guys.
It is a pleasure to share some screen time with you. I've been watching your channel since episode 1.
Oh, thanks, man. I don't mean to hop in here and crash the party, but thank you for the invitation.
No.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, there is no such thing as crashing this party unless you're Mega J. Mega J is the only one who's ever been able to do it. Well, and the prolapse, but we've learned from that experience.
I hadn't even thought about the sort of like the notion that the cosmic key's in play. So
I've been thinking about it.
I'm hearing you.
Like, so much
Yeah,
good.
I mean, I don't like the idea, but I can also see, to a degree, the wisdom of it because it resets everything so that whoever gets to play with Masters of the Universe next time doesn't have to try to build on the Revolution continuity, like because a lot of properties right now aren't keen on the concept of like multiverses are so played out is sort of a thing I keep hearing. So I think rather than doing a multiverse, an easier way to like do a reset is just have Adam and or Tila go back to prevent everything from happening. So
that's true. It would be weird for Mattel to not lean into the multiverse just because they did so much so in the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon, and then like literally the line is called Masterverse, and it's like a bunch of like and the comics. So
I was gonna say the comics especially, right? Because the comics were all those short little like anthology one-offs, and then they the Sorceress and Zodak
Origins comics, the little mini comics. They had an issue of that where Zodak showed up and opened up the door to this multiverse, and you could see them all.
That was the first one of it, and they've continued with it in a couple of other ones, like the was it the Frogmonger one, and like
And of
several of
course,
the mini comics.
the Sunman characters are coming in from the Sunman universe, so that's a multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the actually this one was a big one that they did it in too. Crisis at the Multi-Core.
Yeah.
Yeah, this whole issue was about that. So yeah, like
And
honestly,
Mothman 46, I'd like to see Anti-Eternia He-Man wreck some shit.
So in the
Yes, sir.
Rock on, dude. Yeah, absolutely.
I think it was back
man.
in 2017. We had Tim Seeley did a I think it was a 6-issue comic series of He-Man and the Masters of the Multiverse, and the entire
Right.
storyline of that was Anti-Eternia He-Man going
Anti-Eternia.
from universe to universe collecting power swords.
Yeah.
that was a aside from the releasing classic, that was a lot of people, at least in the US, experiencing Anti-Eternia He-Man, because
Mhm.
prior to that he was in Germany on audio. So like he was never actually in any type of physical media up until Classics brought the figure out because they'd really wanted to do it, so repaint, and then naturally then like, okay, well, let's do the comics. And it's a good call. Right.
We also
Like,
got that Skeletor from there too, right? That
Yeah, the
He's
He Skeletor.
yeah.
yep, he's Skeletor's from that.
Mhm.
Yeah, he
That's
came-
right.
came
That
from
was
the
his.
story.
There you go. You go hold him up again. That was actually his mini comic that I was holding up. The Crisis at the Multi-Core. It's his mini comic.
Okay.
Yeah.
May go back and read
Well,
that.
aside from
Mattel
the
Creations
whole
exclusive.
cosmic key kind of thing, I am curious the Keldor stuff. How is that going to play in? Given, do people think, given like the Revelation comic kind of gave us a history of who Skeletor was and his connection to the Horde that had nothing to do with Keldor.
I'm
Right.
not convinced that how Keldor is going to be used in Revolution is what most people are expecting. Because when we hear Keldor, we all assume
We connect it.
that it's pre-Skeletor, right? With the familial ties with like Randor and stuff like that. I think everybody's going to be everybody's thinking that as soon as that leak dropped. I don't think it's near that. I think something is going on. Maybe it's some type of a disguise or something like that. But I don't think it Keldor as we have all come to understand him since 2000X.
Okay, I haven't read
Here's my one thing about that. Here's my one thing about that, though, right? And we showed this off on Toy Frenzy this week. The very first slide I did is that image.
And we all know exactly what it looks like.
Yeah.
That
so if
shows...
you look at this image, though, Oz, it's got like the red blotchy thing, and so does the fight with the Horde version of Skeletor and Hordak. So I'm thinking like he's gonna break through the tech and reveal some kind of like when this scene transitions, there's also some of that like red like weirdness.
Glitch stuff going on.
So I'm thinking like he's going to unlock some new memories, and maybe he's been manipulated by Hordak into thinking he was an interdimensional demon or something.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Right. Yeah. We had talked about that, again, like, what if he, that original origin story about him being a demon was just something that was put in there, but then this could be his actual past, right? Which again still pulls it towards the Keldor, and I mean, maybe he's not related to King Randor, right? Like I could totally see them doing that, where he's not related to King Randor whatsoever, because we don't
he
necessarily
could be like the King of the Gars, like a separate
exactly like
kingdom.
And that's good. That's a good point, because the I don't know how many of you have read the Forge of Destiny comics that just came out, but those
I haven't read those yet.
So those are an official prequel to Revelation and Revolution, and the central storyline is a conflict with the Gar society, and so they're very central to that entire story.
And you said, real quick, you said a prequel to Revelation as well, so it's before the events.
It takes place before Revelation.
Right.
Okay.
And that would make sense if, like, you were to think of again these more human-esque people, you know, come in, go to war with King, go to war with the Gar. They usurp the Gar or steal their land and set up their new kingdoms that now fall under the rule of King Randor, subjugate the Gar society, kind of thing. And, it's all very familiar.
But is that in the comic, or you're?
He's speculating. Take it with a grain
I
of salt.
haven't.
I'm just wondering if you've
those
read the comic.
So,
Okay,
so the main, I guess, synopsis of the Forge of Destiny is Skeletor and Evelyn pose as Adam, talking with Prince Dash of the Gar, who eventually becomes Cyclone. But so it's got Evelyn magically disguising herself as Prince Adam and tricking the entire Gar nation into thinking Prince Adam attacked her son to steal the Forge of Destiny. And so it starts all these rumors of war between the Gar and Eternos. And so it's kind of a race against time to set things right between that before war breaks out. So that's kind of what's going on.
So it sounds like it potentially is like self-contained.
Yeah, it's pretty self-contained, but it is interesting that it is such a focus on the Gar, because we haven't really heard much of them.
Right.
So if going back to the King Keldor stuff, if he is somehow maybe a king of the Gar, there is that connection with the official prequel comics already in place.
Right.
So,
and I'd asked pretty early on about that King Keldor figure because I didn't see any really good screenshots that said it was particularly Revolution or if it was just Masterverse. But Cobb, I think you were the one that pretty much confirmed it was a Revolution titled, and that's why it's street dated for when Revolution comes out.
That's why it couldn't be shipped out.
Right, with the rest of the wave that you already received.
Yeah, they sent a paper saying that it would ship out after the show airs.
Yeah.
Right. Because that was something they were like, we really need to
that
keep
makes it more of a spoiler.
Yeah.
Like if they just let it fly, people have been like, I don't know if it's actually the cartoon or whatever, but
yeah, but even then, think of how much of other plot details were spoiled on the back of the box. Because again, Cobb's got like all the waves, so he was telling, like I was saying on Toy Frenzy about how clearly, like I'd been saying for a while that I figured Gwildor and Orko were upgrading the sword per se. And stuff like that. And Cobb was like, yeah, that's on He-Man's Battle Armor He-Man's box or on the other box. So it's like it's on there. Like there are a lot of spoilers in the bios listed right on the box. So I'm assuming that King Keldor must have a very big spoiler they wanted to keep under wraps until the show came out. Like where other details, they're like, this is going to be, people are going to pick up on this in the trailer. So we'll just put it out there, like whatever. But that is something where they're like, okay, well, they're not really going to know this is coming. And I also don't think they really figured. I mean, they've got to know by now that once you put an image like that on a toy box, it's going to go fast. People are going to sit there.
I just hope they don't. Well, whatever. I trust them. I trust them, but I'm hoping that there's no like sort of like backtracking on what came in that Revelation comic of sort of skeletons. Skeletor's the kind of like retro. Yeah, the retcon.
Well,
I hope they just kind of run with it. Yeah. Because that also tied like that original comic book had a lot, even though it was sort of self-contained, it had a lot of stuff that worked its way into the show, and especially like there was the Horde connection that like didn't play out hugely in Revelation, but we now know will, and then all the Evil Lyn stuff, of course. So that was a trip. That admittedly was the weirdest part for me, where like Skeletor had a kid and the wife and stuff.
It was just a race of skull-faced.
Yeah, and they're all just like hanging out.
Which and Reed and I just remember thinking, I was like, this seems just a little too goofy, even by Motu standards. It's like,
All right.
And
We all know how goofy Masters Universe can get.
Yeah, like it gets goofy, But the whole time I was just like, I gotta remember this is Skeletor telling this story. He's an unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
He's probably full of it.
Did that come out on your
Barely.
channel or somewhere else? Was that on your channel or was it like Ted or Tim talking somewhere else about? I think it might have been Biaselli somewhere else pointing out that there was like that exactly what you said about like, hey, remember it's Skeletor, so can you trust
I
him?
think it was either Biaselli or Sheridan because I know I've had that conversation with both of those guys.
Okay.
I just can't. Yeah, I can't remember exactly where. But yeah, but one with the Keldor figure being on the back of the box, I know there is just a little tiny bit of disconnect between Mattel and Netflix on what toys to release. Because when that leak happened, and when exactly? Because when that leak happened, they're like, all they had to do was put another toy, another villain that they had ready to go on the back of the box and push Keldor to the next wave after the show had aired, and everything would have been
fine, right?
Fine, but it's just this different, sensibilities about what's going on. You've got Netflix people trying to protect the story and dealing with the narrative of the cartoon. And Mattel wants to sell toys,
Sure.
Right. Where have we seen that problem before?
I'm a normal Keldor figure too. I'm not like real excited, but I don't know. Maybe I will be after watching it, but the figure itself, I'm like kind of off.
It's different looking, yeah.
I mean, I'm one of the few, or maybe not as few as I think, but I've always liked the Keldor thing, like since 2000X kind of really introduced the concept. Like I know in the mini comics, there was one mini comic that hinted at it. That was the one that came with, I think, Faker back in the day. But, like they called it the Hunt for Keldor. It was one mini comic name drop mention. King Randor brings up his brother that he's never ever mentioned before otherwise, and Skeletor for whatever reason is trying to put a stop to it, right? And that's all the backstory we got. I can't have them find out about what happened to Keldor. And like 2000X just like totally took all that little tidbit of information in that mini comic and made a whole big new like thing.
Well, I think it had been stated that was originally the plan. It just the comics didn't get to it in the 80s.
Right. Comics ended. Right. So it left it ambiguous for us to be able to determine whether that was some kind of thing or not. I mean, Keldor is very, very close to Skeletor, and we all know how they do their little names.
Right.
But, it's like 2000X is really what put it out there and put it to the forefront. And there were a lot of people who didn't like it even then. Just because, again, in the original mini comics, Skeletor was a demon, from another dimension. But I've always liked the Keldor kind of like story and aspect of things. I've always thought it was pretty cool.
Well, it brings kind of a Shakespearean type of narrative to what's going on, by giving these backstories and these relations. And I can't remember for sure. I don't. In the 2000X series, was Keldor Randor's brother? Because I don't know if that was established until later comics, like in 2012. But I can't be positive about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in like that first episode, like in that first thing, like they mention them being brothers, like half brothers, because clearly not full brothers.
Sure.
But just in the actual pilot episode, brought up
that three part,
right? Because that's how,
So like I've said a few times in the chat when the subject has come up, I really appreciate the Skeletor has a legitimate claim to the throne of Eternos. Like that's a really cool angle to me.
Yeah, that's so too.
That's true.
No, I agree with you on that too. And I had actually forgotten from the comics that they did establish he was the older brother of Randor.
He was basically robbed of the throne.
Hordak pushed him out. Right. Hatred, racism, and then Hordak's manipulations totally ousted him from getting his right.
And they ran with that in the He-Man and the Masters Universe CGI thing too, right?
Yeah, they brought
Yeah.
Kendall in
Yeah.
as the brother.
But he wasn't a Gar in that one.
No,
he was just
he wasn't a
straight
Gar.
like normal dude.
So shift. Oh, sorry. What you got, Oz?
I was just gonna. Bjorn the Majestic was asking how long has this been going on?
I know, it's like
6.5 hours, because that's how we roll on these channel on this stream.
I'm making up for lost time today. I started and
Yeah,
I'm gonna see if I can hang out till the end. This guy's made it easier. What I loved about my favorite piece of the Revelation cartoon were those sort of like cosmic sequences where Lynn goes and Tila go back in time and sort of see the snake and the eagle. So that piece of it, and then also that Lynn's sorceress form was the bat. Right,
right
from the comics.
The Horkoth.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the now seeing the tease of Tila with the green goddess or the snake, or I'm presuming snake, that all of that I'm just super excited to see play out, and I really want to see them explore that lore.
That's one thing that I've mentioned about this too, is that I think it is really, really cool that, again, all of those, again, like you said, dream sequence or other plane sequences where we see the avatar of Zor and the goddess is always this falcon battling against Serpos as the snake, and the snake is always the sign of evil, right? And then we have that complete role reversal, right? Because now we have Screech, the embodiment of Motherboard, is that falcon imagery. And with Tila going all green goddess as opposed to regular sorceress, now she is the snake. And I like that idea. Like we're having that same age-old battle, but the roles have reversed now. Right?
Yep.
That is just something really, really cool to me, because it does call back to that imagery we've seen, but now it flips it on its end, which is a revolution.
Yeah, I totally didn't even factor in the Motherboard Screech thing. So that's great. But what about Horkoth, or is that right? Horkoth or Horokoth? Horo. Okay. So Lynn was a bat. The Horde symbol is a bat.
It's a bat.
Like what any thoughts on what's going on? Total speculation, just for fun.
Well,
I'm just curious.
If you call back to the CGI in that final season, right?
Right.
That end scene stinger that it leaves us with, where Hordak is Lynn's father.
And we'll never have any of that fleshed out.
No.
Ever.
Maybe in a comic book.
Yeah. Rob David did say that he said that, what did he say? When I interviewed him, he said that they have more stories for that incarnation, and that it will likely be explored through comics.
Well, I'll be happy to read it through comics, because Burke and I have talked about it several times, especially, and quite a few others, that just that new CGI show was everything we needed for new He-Man to present itself to a younger generation and really spread that love, and I absolutely loved it. Honestly,
it had the same spirit, which was something missing from some other shows that will remain nameless, but the CGI show had the spirit of the old Filmation cartoon. Although it had not the storyline, it had different looks of the characters.
It took a lot of stuff and made its own take on those themes, though, and did a great job with it.
And one of the things that I love
missing from a lot of remakes is it misses the whole point entirely. Where the CGI series had the point, it had, like I said, the same spirit.
Yep. One of the things that I absolutely loved about it too was that when we were all growing up, when we wanted to play He-Man with our friends, everybody fought over who would be He-Man, because He-Man was the one who had the power, right? What I loved about the CGI show was that it brought that everybody could have the power. The villains, the good guys, all of them had the power in one way, shape, or form. So that necessity to necessarily be He-Man could be thrown out the door, right? Like, I don't want to be that. I want to be this. And then through even Ram Mam, where she has the power of Grayskull and then flips and totally gets the havoc and becomes Crash. Like, shows that just because you had the power from one doesn't mean you can't do the other either.
The Havoc was cool too.
Right? Yeah, the idea of this evil magic too. Like, there was just so much good stuff about all of that.
Was there ever reasoning giving on why they just like, yeah, we're done? Or is just Netflix being Netflix?
Netflix being Netflix. Maybe they weren't getting the numbers that they wanted from the watching. I don't know.
Well,
I didn't hear
part
anything.
of it also I'm sure part of it also comes into play, right? Like, with everybody dumping on Revelations before it came out, it certainly drove people to not even want to bother to watch it, right? And that CGI thing, I remember from the first time I started seeing the toy design, I was like, oh man, that really sucks. I don't really care for that. Because it didn't appeal to me at first. And it grew on me as time went. And then I realized what that would mean for somebody like Connor, who, although he saw
meant for you, it was meant for
the younger generation. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, that's actually really cool what they're doing with that. And then when I finally saw the show and I heard the theme song and everything and it popped, I was just like, yes, this is what the younger kids need to really get into Masters of the Universe. Unfortunately, I just don't. Right? That was a dope song.
Really?
It's also important though. It's important that I have a friend who does a lot of post production stuff, and for Netflix and even Hulu to a degree, ratings are like secondary in some cases. It's also about how much buzz and how much conversation and how it's on Twitter. Like, so it could, and we don't know because they don't actually release the numbers, but something can have great ratings. And if the buzz, there's no buzz, there's no, like, Revelations.
Right, because there's no traction.
Could have had terrible ratings, but because the social media, everything, there are all these episodes on YouTube, like everyone coming out and talking about it, that actually would have helped it about 50% in some cases because of how Netflix views their content. If you're not talking about it, it doesn't matter how good it's doing. Like, it's like 50-50 in some cases. Like, it has to do both. So
right, but at the same time though, right, everybody was talking about Revelation and we got the first 5 episodes, then we had the second 5 episodes, and pretty much from that point on, at that point, everybody thought that was actually done and that Revolution would never come out. And it took a long time for us to give Revolution. Part of that was a writer's strike, but that was a very small part of that. Whereas CGI He-Man, we got season 1, 2, and 3 almost straight back to back.
yeah, but with
It's the way it was ordered and produced.
Yeah, I mean, like, with
true.
animation, they there's no season 1, 2, and 3. They ordered so many episodes and then broke it into seasons. So, like, they did a single episode order, and they're like, well, structure it for 3 seasons.
And
so
like
that's how
with,
animation works. So Revelations was the same thing. They ordered a set of episodes, but they told them to break it into 2. So it's weird the way they do. They don't do that with live action, but they, like the Voltron series, like there were what 7, 8 finger quote 7, 8 seasons, but they actually only did like 3 orders, and then they just broke it up into like multiple. Same with She-Ra, they only ordered episodes like twice, but then broke it up into like 3, 4 seasons or something. So
that's a good point. Yeah, I didn't think about that portion of it, how they do those for the animation.
Yeah, so it's
yeah.
Hollywood does. People like my friend don't like it because you can't necessarily count on work no matter how quote unquote good something does. Netflix will just cancel shit sometimes because not enough people know it exists and not enough people are talking about it.
Or it's perceived that way.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it could have good ratings because people actually watch it, but if you're not on Instagram or Twitter doesn't exist really. You're not even X is like not, like Facebook.
It's not even
Yeah.
close to what Twitter was.
Yeah, so I mean, like that's part of I think the shift is that there aren't also places where people can. But basically, right now, YouTube, if there aren't a bunch of videos about it, positive or negative, it's gonna hurt the show. And there aren't a lot of CGIs. Like my feed for a while was a constant everything wrong with this woke Revelations garbage or whatever. Kila's too butch. Like there were videos about Andra. Nobody cared about Andra until it's just dumb. But CGI didn't quite get that. So like negative or positive, it's people are talking about it. There's interest. People were at least watching an episode or two so they could hate watch it.
Well, maybe we will get another season then.
Hopefully. If we can manage to drum up some stuff about it, maybe. I know that art book, Britt.
2 more
thank
hours, guys.
you.
What I'd love is if they had 5 more episodes and they're just hiding them from us. So we have these 5 and then another 5 that we just don't know.
I'm wondering if this revolution, when it was written, and whether they changed the direction of that after the revelations.
I don't know.
It was written after it was. Let's see. It wasn't written like while the second half was airing. It wasn't written. The only reason I know is I do watch Kevin Smith and Chris Bernardin.
Mark.
What's his first name? Mark Bernardin's.
Yeah.
Fat Man. No,
Fat Man
whatever
Beyond.
it's called now. It is now called Fat Man Beyond. Yeah, Fat Man Beyond.
No.
And
It wasn't called that at the time.
They weren't sure.
Well, Kevin was like completely content with walking away.
Yeah, and also like Mark didn't have work. Like it was pretty clear. Like they were pretty transparent about what and they're not like even pretending or anything. So, anyway,
yeah, they had.
I don't know that they. So I don't know. Are you wondering if they
already had the storyline in
response?
mind or had some kind of an outline written,
like
or whether after it aired, they're like, okay, we need to go in a different direction with this. We kind of screwed up the first time. I don't know. I'm just wondering.
I mean, they obviously had some kind of ideas just because the way it ends, like the horde symbol, and skeleton, that stuff.
Right.
The motherboard reveal.
Kevin clearly had a direction he wanted to go with it in one way, shape, or form, but even he wasn't sure if it was going to get more, like he knew that right up front.
But even with Revolution now, and even with Revolution now, Ted Biasillia said that, if Revolution performs as well as Revelation did, then they'll do a third season. But it doesn't. They don't know. They don't know until they get those viewership numbers in, and that's how it was with Revelation. We had part 1 and part 2, which was all written at once, and we were talking about
I figure going by what Allison was saying, I figured that between Nerd Erotic and Umbrella Man and Gundam and Yellow Flash, they ought to get plenty of videos, not necessarily good videos, but videos that will make Netflix go, hey, it's all over YouTube.
I mean, my feed right now, like I just refreshed Netflix. I've got 8 videos from 8 different people. I mean, 6 of them I'm subscribed to, 2 of them I'm not. But it's all an analysis of the trailer and trailer breakdown, and
there you go.
Like, people are talking about.
I know.
It, so like that's
somebody down here did a really decent trailer breakdown. Right down there at the bottom of the screen. Dad at Arms did a really good breakdown of it.
Dad, in general, if Dad at Arms,
you triggered this conversation.
Actually, well, my point was, what Allison, her point was, it doesn't matter whether it's good or bad. Press, all press is good press. Remember that line from years and years and years ago.
Yeah,
holds true. If people are talking about it, it don't matter what they're saying necessarily. in the end, it's going to drive the result that people are talking about it. Eyes are going to be on it,
And
right?
and it's also important to know right now, if there's certain creators, if they go out and they're like, this is woke garbage, there's a section of people who will go watch it on purpose.
Right.
Hate watch.
Like,
Yep.
and
Hate
if you say
watching.
something's woke garbage, there are some people who won't watch it, but they will still talk about it and generate buzz for it. So it's like,
Right.
it's sort of
I
this
was going to
hit or miss
say,
thing. Like,
yeah. Ken and I have talked on several occasions, especially of late. Like, there's this whole portion of YouTube that thrives off of their drama and negativity and press, and they are killing it because negativity gets more attention, right?
Yeah.
People will tune in to hear other people talk shit more than they will to hear somebody praise something.
but
Right?
they
'Cause
won't
nobody really.
necessarily. But that also, like, yeah, you'll tune in and watch somebody talk shit about something, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to go watch something and enjoy it. You're just going to go hear them talk
No,
shit.
not at all. You just want to hear what they're saying is shit about it, right?
Same reason people read like the national. Well, I mean, I don't think anyone reads it, but in the day, it was the same reason. Like my grandmother would buy the National Enquirer. She technically did not give a shit about celebrity gossip. She would certainly buy that every week and read it and then throw it in the trash. Like, this is garbage. I can't believe, and she'd sit there sometimes like, this is bullshit, and it'd be all
Look,
made up.
What the hell with the
Elizabeth Taylor's
National Enquirer?
secret
The Weekly World News was where it was at.
Yeah, like,
look, man, National Enquirer introduced me to Bat Boy, and
yeah.
he is
So,
legit.
That
He
was
is
Weekly
real.
World News.
That was
my
Weekly World
friend.
News. Bat Boy was.
Was it?
Yeah, Weekly World News was where it was at, brother.
National Enquirer was like,
It was more
Pat
dignified.
Sajak did what to
well, and
whatever.
sometimes the Enquirer had real stories, but sometimes it was made up, and sometimes they would, like, they had deals with people. There were some people, like, they would put, like, some of the true stuff was literally like, okay, your agent is trying to protect you, so they will throw 4 of their other clients under the bus with like true stories, and then there's the made up stuff. So like, that was a whole game. I don't know how it works now, but back then, if you weren't big enough, sometimes you get thrown under a bus for like the bigger celebrity.
Going back to what you were
Yes.
saying, Allison. I was talking to BSL the other day, and he said,
Yeah.
Talking about Revelation, the response to it, and he said that 90% of the buzz about it was positive, and that he was surprised to see so much love for Revelation. And then he says, a little controversy is good because it gets people talking and discussing, and that's what feeds the algorithm.
Sadly.
I don't understand anyone complaining about He-Man being woke. Like, we
It's
all
always
got
been woke.
pro-social messages from He-Man at the end of every episode. Like,
We were taught to be good
Right?
people because of He-Man.
Well, the spin
Imagine
around the notion of, I know this is taking it away, but well, whatever, we can. No.
it's just
go
not a
ahead,
legitimate criticism, is what I'm saying.
No, I know that. I'm just saying, like, the whole notion of how people talk about woke was never. It's totally out of context. It's not a real thing. It really isn't.
No,
I mean,
right.
it has nothing to do with what people actually are saying or not. Whatever.
This
Anyway.
makes me uncomfortable in my ignorance. It's woke. Oh, sorry.
It's like, crap, I didn't realize that I was actually not as progressive as I thought I was. Oh, shit.
We can't ever watch this thing. It made me feel bad about myself.
Maybe I'm the asshole.
Hey,
we weren't going to say
I
anything,
proudly
but-
admit to being an asshole.
We all have our moments.
Asshole and proud of it.
It's how
Right.
you roll past your moments of bad awfulness. So
There you go. Real quickly, going back to this goes back quite a bit, but what you were talking about, like, I think it was you, but about like the those visions that we saw in Revelation.
Yes.
Of the like the primordial creation or whatever's going on. It instantly reminded me of what we saw in the Eternity War with the 3 aspects of the goddess, the bat, the snake, and the falcon. Except there was no bat, it was now a ram.
Right.
And one thing that
That's
I've
right.
kind of been thinking a little bit about is, and especially seeing it in this new trailer, we see that shot of Tila where she's wielding the staff of Zor and the staff of Ka, which are Zor is representative of the falcon, Ka is representative of the snake. is there another staff out there that's representative of the Ram?
The Havoc staff.
The Havoc
Mhm.
staff.
And so I wonder
Havoc
if,
staff?
yeah. So I wonder if that's kind of the angle they're going at.
Right.
Kind of a little bit
Because that was also
tweaking
a
what they
whole
did in
thing.
the comics. So that,
Right.
sorry, that was my,
They do
that was
have
my
that
thought.
little
It seems consistent with that vision that we saw.
Evil Lynn holding the Ram.
No,
So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
I
Yeah, I love it.
completely can agree with that, and definitely think that would be a good aspect of it, because like we did see a little bit more of that in again, call back to 2000X, right, with like the Ram Stone.
Yep.
Right, took Skeletor, the combined power of the Ram Stone sigil with the Havoc staff to
Well, and there's
break
also
through the wall.
and the and the Ram Stone's associated with the faceless one, which
Yep.
in Revelation,
Evil
that
Lyn's dead.
corpse at the entrance to Subternia is,
Yep.
the armor it's wearing is very reminiscent of the faceless one's armor. You know what the Evil Lynn places that Ram skull on to open up Subternia.
Man.
I think he's just sleepy, Briscoe. He's not. He hasn't done anything.
But okay, so that's also the thing. You've got the Falcon, the Snake, the Ram, and then the Bat. So like that's 4 different, 2 land creatures, 2 air creatures, and like each of them like obviously Zor is like, let's finger quote good.
Lawful good.
That's
or whatever.
subjective. I mean, to me, they seem more like nature, like forces of nature, and it's probably more about who's wielding them. I mean, obviously, there was sort of the Falcon versus the Snake, but at the same time, even the Eternian Goddess. I mean, obviously, this is a retcon through the years, but even the Snake Goddess, like, is good, even though technically the Snake Men are not. So, like.
Right.
There's this evolution, and Tila in certain continuities, Tila becomes a snake man and then comes back from it. And that's part of what, in some cases, makes her the sort of the goddess rather than the sorceress. So it's interesting because now that gives us like sort of 4 different power animals.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I don't have any more of a thought than that, Mike, but it's just interesting we now have 4 different power animals. That are
Where are the sea animals?
Yeah, that are sort of poised to be front and center in this next little chunk of thing.
I've never even thought about, as you mentioned that, my brain started going to like think about some of the vehicles in Motu, and I hadn't really thought about like which ones are tied to any of these like animals. I know, I mean, like Point Dread, of course, or the what do they call it?
The Talon Fighter.
Talon Fighter clearly has a connection. I don't do any of the others that folks know, like the snakes.
Well,
no, I mean we have animal-based vehicles, like we've got the Dragon Walker and the Land Shark,
unproduced,
Stridor. But as far as like the specific, are you talking about like the deity type animals?
Yeah,
are there vehicles associated with the deities?
Yeah.
Let me address now. Thanos, were you thinking of the monster walker that they used the face of for the face that they put on Snake?
No,
Mountain?
there wasn't. I can't remember where it was at, but I'm pretty sure there's an unproduced snake vehicle. I remember seeing.
There was. It was for Rattler.
Yeah. Was it in one of the magazines or something back in the day?
It might be in the Power and Honor Foundation catalog. Let me look real quick. I think.
I wish I had that book, guys.
I think that's where we've seen it, but like I do remember, like I think it was like part of one of their catalogs.
My memory of it is also just rendered in cartoon form, so it wasn't even like a prototype we were seeing for that.
Right? Yeah, there was no actual prototype because it was drawn up around the same time they did the Moss Man one, the like frog leaper thing or whatever that could climb up walls.
Skeletor had the Ram Chariot in 2000X.
2000X, yeah. Well, that was the battle ram of 2000X. Was that chariot? So we did get to again see that and those more elements of the Ram and the Havoc staff with the Ram Stone. Like they were almost like really trying to push that as like his source of evil power was a Ram.
I'm not seeing any snake.
What was the
vehicles.
pop-up vehicle toward sort of the end of the line that like He-Man rode on?
The is that one, that red one, right? That kind of
Yeah, the red one.
The attack track.
I just saw it. No, not the attack track.
No, this is,
Bassosaurus.
no, it's a smaller one that
The,
like sort of pop.
It's like a motorcycle that laid down and then it would like pop up and become a
yeah,
gun
like
shooting
an-
station.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
This one right here.
That thing, yeah.
The laser bolt.
Ooh, that's right.
That's it.
And I, of course, always have Battle Ram blog pulled up because why wouldn't you?
It's the best resource out there.
That's the go-to place to look for that.
Half of my Motu
Well,
videos.
since He-Man.org is no longer around, you are right. That is the number one source as far as having it chronicled on
an archival type of thing. Yeah,
right.
It is a shame
Whereas
we never
back
did
in the
get this Snake Mountain vehicle.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
That's the Monster Walker, and you can see
Yeah.
Skeletor driving it up there. That was supposed to be
right
like the answer to the Dragon Walker for the bad guys.
Right. So cool.
Did those things on Snake Mountain, that beast and the wolf, did they ever have any sort of like, were they associated with any kind of deities or something, or what were those creatures?
No.
They're never really, no lore really.
No lore.
Right.
Yeah, no lore that I know of, except the only thing that I know of is that Snake Mountain, I think it was in 2000X that it established that it was the ancient stronghold of the Snake Men.
Yeah, and it like came alive at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it was Serpos
That
himself.
did that contradict the lore of the Filmation series where Skeletor used the golden discs of knowledge to build Snake Mountain?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's face it. They're
God, I
He-Man's
appreciate you,
lore.
nerds, man. This is great. This is fantastic.
He-Man's lore has retconned itself over and over again between.
That's true. I mean, you've got the
Elements.
original mini comics that are totally different from anything else.
Well, even
Which
the
is
mini comics as they went on contradicted themselves later, like we were talking
All
about.
Yeah.
You know, Skeletor being a demon and then being Keldor. That was all in the mini comics.
In the mini comics. Well,
Well, Wave 1 didn't have a story Bible, really. There was just sort of the Mattel merchandising stuff. And then when What's-His-Face wrote...
Dan Clutt, he was given
Loose.
pictures of the toys and told to write a story, and he hacked out that story. That he says that himself.
Yeah.
Let me find my Castle Grayskull script because I've got a bunch of that. I've got the actual
Moistley says the Dragon Walker was the dumbest vehicle design ever conceived. From an adult point of view, yes. I think from a kid's point of view, no.
That was
Look,
one of the cool things about Masters is they just did a lot of interesting engineering things. It's like they had fun making toys. That did
it was
a lot of things.
at the end of '82 as they were prepping for Filmation. Halpern did a story Bible, which is when a lot of stuff shifted. That's when Castle Grayskull got an actual background, because originally it was just a mysterious old MacGuffin. That's not how I put it in my script. I'm just hitting my outline. And then he went in and said that, like, and in his story Bible, Zodak was the head of the Council of Elders.
Yeah.
So the snake, the attorney, well, she was just the sorceress, but she went in and was like, Skeletor is going to come one day. We should do something. So they put all their powers into a globe and hide it in Grayskull. Which then Filmation changed even more. So I'm working on stuff about the Kid Stuff record, so I don't give a shit about Filmation. So this is up until Kid Stuff. But yeah, so that was, but sort of that's the two of the big shifts was his story Bible and then Filmation. So like those two things. And then everything in the mini comics after that stayed pretty consistent until Filmation ended the show, and then the mini comics were sort of on their own again.
I have a question, and of course, everybody thinks I'm some sort of Motu expert. I'm not, but what my question has always been: what came first, that story Bible that you're talking about, or the DC Comics
The
miniseries?
DC Comics came.
DC
Basically,
Comics.
this is what they gave to DC when DC Comics was doing that 3-part miniseries.
Got you. Okay, now that begins to fill in a piece of the puzzle for
Yeah,
me. Thank
and
you.
that's why even those 3 Kid Stuff records, Castle Grayskull, Prince Adam, and He-Man and Battle Cat, and The Revenge of Skeletor. The 3 of those are pretty much just written from, like the Castle Grayskull one, pretty much lifts directly from this.
Mhm.
But so all of those come from, they're pre-filmation, but they have Prince Adam like the DC Comics. So they're all and then everything after that, sort of a lot of the kid stuff never actually assumed anything from filmation. Like I mean, like they brought in Orko, but they didn't actually. And
He was
Queen
Gorpo
Marlena.
originally.
I don't think that. Yeah, I think he might be Gorpo in one of the stories, but for the most part, they got that corrected fairly quick. So kid stuff though, like tried to lean into the toy design, so you see Tila always in the snake armor and stuff.
Yep.
Kid stuff got the assignment was we need to sell some toys with these books. So yeah, like, and so that's why the those little storybooks, like the Golden Book stuff, that's why it's all like different continuity but kind of the same, is because they were more focused on selling the toys, and most of their stuff was from these story Bibles. Not the Filmation surprisingly didn't necessarily play well with others, which is why my vintage Orco says owned by Filmation or whatever on it. So anyway, trying to find the laser bolt stuff. There was
I could bring up the laser bolt.
Yeah, well, I was just trying to find some of the concept art, and I'm not easily finding it outside of Power and Honor.
You want me to go grab a laser bolt?
Well, it's more about trying to look through all the concepts, because it wasn't. It changed a bit, and there were different animals in there at one point, I believe.
Mr. Home Arcade, good morning, sir.
Hello, Mr. Home Arcade.
So this is one of those things where, like, again, talking about some of that concept, right? We were just showing this off. So this concept eventually became a vehicle in New Adventures, right? Because some of the stuff did cross over, where this became more of like a chariot. Talking about the Battle Ram chariot. I just meant to blow up the image. I didn't mean to go by Battle Ram chariot.
I love
So
that
I was
vehicle.
trying to find
Super
it.
fun. The heads bob up and down when it
Right.
rolls, and then like
It was
bashes
fun.
out.
It was just a good toy, right? So I was actually trying to find, again, that Rattler snake.
Yeah, I
vehicle.
couldn't find it. I looked for a second, but
Yeah,
and I only
well, 'cause,
vaguely
like,
remember seeing something about it. Like I don't even remember where I saw it.
it was a sketch, because on the same exact page they showed that moss like wall crawler thing. Where it had the suction cups and it went up the wall, and it was like a frog. Mr. Home Arcade knows what I'm talking about, because he now has that vehicle.
Yes.
But it was on the same concept page as that. They also had a concept for a snake vehicle. It's really going to bother me not being able to find it. Here's a
You might
laser
not
bolt.
be able to find it now that the forum's down. Like,
And I think that might be part of the case, right? Like, I think it may have been part of the forum, and that's why I can't see it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if
Scalar is what he's talking about, the Mossman vehicle that you were talking about.
Yeah, that was the upscaler, was the Mossman vehicle. But this was on the same concept page. You know what? Now that I think about it, I think on one of the episodes of Toy Frenzy, when we talked about the unreleased vehicles, Adam had a picture of it.
Yeah, he obviously doesn't have everything up on Battle Ram yet because he doesn't.
No, he's got a lot of it just saved. Now I gotta go
I'm
to
not
Skelly's
finding it.
channel.
I didn't. I don't have my full Power and Honor.
Needle in a
Foundation
haystack
scanned.
time.
Well, fortunately, I can just go back to the playlist on Skelly's channel for Toy Frenzy and then look up the one where we had discussed unreleased toys for Masters Universe, because that would be the episode. Then it'll just be a matter of scrolling through. Why is it that like the later these streams go on, I spend like hour and a half, 2 hours just looking for like one image? It's like been a running thing for the last 3 weeks.
7 hours, 9 minutes, and 53 seconds.
We're not breaking records tonight. We're not
What was
going
the
over
record?
9 hours.
There.
9 hours.
Last words. And we got poor old John down there. Looks like he's about half asleep, accused of smoking a hooter.
What's wrong with smoking a hooter? You talk like
I'm
that.
just saying. He's got the old eyes going there.
Well, you're all more resilient than me. I think I'm gonna have to hop off here.
I'm about ready to pass out in my chair.
I was gonna say
it's
honestly, if it wasn't for this discussion, I was about ready to end it before.
Yeah, and thank you for indulging that. I totally, don't know why I didn't bring it up earlier. I am super excited for it.
So like,
I was gonna say, I see Dad at Arms pop up in the chat. He's getting an invite to come on to the clubhouse and hang out for a while. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys letting me join. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, bro. Well, welcome to the channel. Welcome to hanging out in the clubhouse.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to say goodnight. So it was wonderful meeting you and
good night.
Chatting with everybody.
Good night.
Take care.
Thank you, man.
Good journey.
Good journey.
The new is a little bigger.
I was doing shorts with that prototype. I lost even more of the Micronauts antenna.
Oh no!
It is what it is.
Usual Mike.
Your toy. You broke
Usual
your toy.
Mike. Oh, we've arrived. We've got
Usual-
Australia now too. We've gotten Dad at Arms tonight.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure how to read when he said good evening, if that's a greeting or a goodbye, but I assume that was a greeting.
Yeah.
Because he's still here.
Right.
It's already tomorrow over there.
Yeah.
So
it's already
was
tomorrow
gonna
over
say-
here, and I'm in California. So.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Great.
They don't. They.
Yeah, the West Coast Avengers they're still early, but it's Friday there. Or Sunday.
It's the 3-day weekend for me in work.
Yeah,
Right.
my phone didn't melt.
Maybe they
Yeah.
can, but I'm not going to be able to. I've got a show to do at 12 noon today.
I've got one at a couple hours, so. But
Just show up late to it, Allison.
right? Yeah, let's
Yeah,
do that.
your show, Allison. You get to control it.
Yeah, like
You
let's
could just
do
blame
that.
it on me again. Say it's all my fault. I'm doing my hair.
Because Muriel's joining me so we can do our postponed strawberry shortcake from Christmas Eve, and like she's halfway around the world. Like,
Oh, it's a makeup one.
yeah, it's because Christmas Eve, like we were gonna do some strawberry shortcake, and her boyfriend / you know, like as you get older, that sort of stuff doesn't matter. But the family invited them for Christmas Eve, and yeah, so go do that instead of hanging out with me in your apartment on the internet coloring strawberry shortcake. We'll make it up. So yeah, you know. But I haven't gotten to. So we're basically gonna do our catch up.
But have you asked her yet if it was worth missing?
I'm going to say probably, because I want to say they're in I'm terrible with. I'm from the United States. I'm terrible with foreign countries that aren't Canada. I do know that people in Brazil speak Portuguese and Spanish, and Portuguese is the main language. So that's my one claim to fame. But I believe she's in Albania, and they were doing off like obviously they're from Albania, so like
nice.
he was getting to have Albanian food, and like I would not. I'm never gonna argue with like an actual authentic meal.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
especially on Christmas Eve, like their traditions are. I'm gonna try to get her to talk about the food, so because I'm never going to Albania.
The holiday traditions from around the world really interest me. So
yeah, so and we're doing strawberry shortcake, which is like desserts and cakes and pies and stuff. So
oh, now I'm
we'll
hungry.
work the food in, and then we'll talk smack about our mom like we always do. And dude's name Carl.
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 My dad's name is Carl.
Coral.
My brother's
Carl.
name is Carl. And he's
We
an
have,
idiot.
we have this jellyfish toy with bells and stuff for the cats, and we call it Carl. And the other day, he's not with me because it's too cold for him. Because behind us is the blizzard or whatever, so it's too cold for him tonight. But the other day, I watched him trot by with that jellyfish in his mouth, and I had to patch it up a little.
Are you getting snow right now, Allison?
I don't know if it may have stopped. Let's see. Yeah, it stopped, but it was blowing sideways earlier, so.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're up to 15 degrees. It was 13 when I jumped on the stream.
Wow.
So, I'm sorry, it's back down to
shorts
14.
weather almost.
Not here. That's people lose their mind in this part of the Pacific Northwest when it's We have all the California rejects, all the people who were like, "I'm gonna sell my multi-billion."
It's like 43 degrees, and I'm like freezing. And I have a beanie and sweatshirt on.
I'm sitting here talking about being cold.
See what it is.
It's 12 degrees here, but we're supposed to get 2 feet of snow just today. So
Yeah, we're also closer to like the border and stuff like that. So it's going to be a bit colder
25 out there, and they're
What do you
predicting
got?
that when it
Negative
gets
5?
snow here. So
-5.
Heat miser has allowed the
Man,
snow miser to come down here to South
Nice.
Town.
Cobb.
Oh, I'm over here
We
just
don't.
playing around.
Oh, man, it's like 58 degrees here. Woo.
We used to get snow. We just don't get snow anymore.
I'll send you some, Oz.
We were looking at houses the other day online
I
in your neck of the woods, Oz.
Oh, where are you? Gonna
Yeah.
come out to Maryland? I highly do not
Thought about
recommend.
Not quite Baltimore, a little bit further, but you know.
I recommend moving at least a little further north into PA. Housing's cheaper, school system's better.
I've decided and this is sad, but this is one of the things that I was like on my list of reasons too. I'm like, there's something really appealing about I had a shitty work week. It's Saturday morning. I'm gonna drive into Baltimore and get some crab cakes. So,
well, crab
You
cakes
can still
are
do that
the
from
best
Pennsylvania,
pizza.
though.
Good.
You can.
Yeah, but then you
can.
have to be in Pennsylvania, right?
Pennsylvania is a great state to live in.
I'm just saying, it's a lot better than Maryland.
Yeah, but
I lived
see,
in
that's the
Pennsylvania
thing.
for a
Maryland's-
while.
You expect Maryland to be a little
I loved
shitty.
it.
If you go to Pennsylvania and it's a little shitty, you're extra disappointed because you're like, this is where all the waspy people live. Why is it horrible here too? Whereas in Maryland, you're right by there's Edgar Allan Poe, there's the John Waters stuff, crab cakes. So anyway.
Good
Well,
night,
my
everyone.
recommendation then is
move sign off. So
All right.
good
Have a good
night,
night,
everybody.
Bill.
Thank you all
Bye,
for
Bill.
allowing me to get in here
Thanks
and
for having me
listen
again,
to
Mike.
all this wonderful
Always.
chat. Good night, everybody.
Good night. We'll see you around in streams tomorrow, though. But yeah, so.
It is 4 a.m. though, so just wanted to hop on and say hello and show off all my amazing stuff.
Well, we
I didn't
appreciate
recognize
it.
you,
Thank
bud.
Bill.
I know. I have a face.
Wow.
I just watched Clueless, like chin pubes. Again, I should reiterate. I just watched Clueless again.
Again.
I went and saw it 9 times at the theater when it came out. 6 of those were in the same day because it was an hour and 25 minutes, and it hit the dollar theater. So 10 a.m. It was 10 a.m., 12 a.m., noon, 2 p.m. I just went from the moment they opened to the last showing. I did it all in a day. That's stuff I missed from my 20s. That and all the liquid income to buy toys.
Yeah,
Yes.
adulting sucks.
It does. That's why we kidult on the weekends.
Yeah.
All right, folks. I'd say it's a good part to wrap it up. See,
I'd say
look,
so.
Mr. Home Arcade
Oh, I
says,
could live by Mr. Home Arcade.
right?
Well, then maybe I'll
PA
move to
is where
PA,
I'm from. And it's a
'cause
great
you
place.
know it's happening by Mr. Home Arcade.
Well, not only that, too. Jesse, Just Shelve It, and Sean, they're in PA, and those guys are awesome.
Attorney
And
of
I
Dreams in
bet in
PA.
Pennsylvania there are more people I could criticize for wearing white shoes after Labor Day.
Now, Mothman is saying Deep Creek, Lake Maryland is heaven on earth. And I will say Deep Creek is a pretty cool place, but just Maryland's way too expensive to live.
Maryland's too close to Washington, D.C. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's a little spendy. Yeah, agreed. Mothman 46 on Ohio.
Just
I
having
drove
that
through
discussion
Ohio.
today. I
You're
can't even
not
find
right.
the episode where we talked about the unproduced figures, but if we did a whole episode on unproduced Masters of the Universe toys and cannot find it, what the crap? Oh, here it is. Now, see, I was determined.
I was just about to go searching.
Yeah, almost had me go and look too. I'm trying to remember it.
I just gotta find the part where we started the slideshow. I think this may have just been more about concepts, though.
Yeah, I don't know if Carl with a C or Carl with a K makes a difference. My brother's name begins with a K, and he's an idiot.
I've never dated a Carl with a K, so I can't speak for those people. But if you say so, he can be equally Carl.
I mean, he's well intended, but he's just an idiot.
That is a Carlism. Sometimes they don't mean to be stupid and dense and awful, but they just are. And we love them. We love that for them, but we also talk shit about them to their
Yeah.
face
On
sometimes.
the internet. For
They don't realize
everyone to
sometimes you're
see.
talking shit to them, to their face. They're like, "That's a weird compliment."
Walking Dead Carl's pretty badass.
Accurate.
Hey, I will say this. I have never had a problem talking shit to somebody's face.
Oh,
My
Yeah.
brother's the type of guy that'll call you at 3:00 in the morning, drunk off his ass, with the radio playing so loud in the background that you can't really hear him, and he's so drunk he can't figure out how to turn down the radio.
and what is playing on the radio?
Usually something like Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath.
Mega Carl. He's a Mega Carl. There you go. There you
What's
go.
wrong with Ozzy Osbourne?
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying it's so
Oh, okay.
Carl to call you drunk, 3 a.m. loud music. It's like, and you can tell you're not from the South because it's Ozzy Osbourne. If it was from the South, it would be like Leonard Skinner
Leonard
or
Skinner, yep.
Molly Hatchet or
Yeah, definitely.
and if you were from the West Coast, it would be like Van Halen or I don't know, like
I'm on the West Coast and I would go Skinner or Sabbath.
yeah. So yeah, but like Fresno, like
Yeah, but you're not
that's-
Carl either.
It's like yeah, you're not Carl. So this is Carl, but Fresno is
Far
also
north
kind
from
of like the
Pasadena,
south of
Eddie Van Halen.
California. Like it's like Reno, not Reno. It is Reno, and yeah, Reno and like Barstow and like those are like the South. They're just not in the South. So.
Yeah.
Like, I drove through
I'm in the
Barstow
anus
one
of
time.
California,
Yeah.
dead center.
The anus.
Yeah.
You're not that
I was
far
almost
from
in the
Bay Area,
anus
though.
of Cali.
Which reminds me.
I was actually gonna. My mom moved out to California. She moved out to Fresno. Now she's buried out
I
there.
don't
She
recommend
never came back.
People get married in Fresno. It's a place that people go to and get married in. It happens.
There we go. All right, guys. Well, I think it'd be best to just kind of wrap it up here. So, Ed, what you got going on, brother?
Let's see. Tomorrow night, Hella Dope Toys, and then I guess I'll promote the other channel that I moderate on Monday night, which is Punks on Punk. What is this channel called? A Punk with Toys.
He has a
That's
channel.
Punk with
I was gonna
Toys.
say Punks on Film, but that was Thursday night show.
That's Thursdays.
Yeah, Punk with Toys on Monday night, and then on Tuesday I will be doing my show with my son. I don't know what we're doing Tuesday because he's been really busy. So he's got some things going on, trying to get his life moving forward since he's 18 and he's an adult now. So other than that, that's about it. Every day on
I think
Instagram.
of 18 as being an adult because I don't think I had any idea what was going on until I was like 30.
Oh, me neither. But
Usual, Mike? Absolutely, man. Definitely. You hit me up on IG, whatever you got. We'll definitely have you on, brother.
Absolutely.
Great.
You know, that's one of the things about this. Like, this is really open for all of us. The whole idea of the clubhouse is that no matter who it is, pretty much come in and hang out.
Unusual Mike's the reason I bought my first G.I. Joe Classified. He did when they first came out back in the day.
There you go. Brick, what you got coming up?
So it's officially Sunday. So in about 12 hours, I'll be getting ready to start at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time doing the Brick Something News. I will be with Bo of Morphonauts / Combat Creatures tomorrow.
Nice.
And then I might just pop on Monday just cause I have the time, and I'm gonna try and get back on the shorts. I've had to take a pause for a little bit. But yeah, so that's pretty much it until again next Sunday. Unfortunately, that's where I'm gonna be.
There we go. Thanos.
My next episode of my Instagram retrospective will drop tomorrow, early in the morning, and every day on Instagram, pretty much. Wednesdays are hump days, Fridays are Fisto Fridays. And this month I'm doing collabs with D's Sexy Toys, so it'll be an extra spicy shot on Tuesdays. So.
All right, bud.
I'm sure eventually I'll edit that video. Probably not.
You should have said, I have a channel.
No, I have a channel. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
How many
I do. I do plan on doing stuff on it still. I'm just kind of deciding how I want to format it.
But you
going
should just
forward.
Video yourself painting a couple of figures and throw it up there. You don't need to edit that shit. Just throw it up.
Yeah, the editing, it's kind of
onto it.
bearing down, cutting down like an hour and a half footage into 5-minute segments and then upload it and then
forget about
edit all that down into a 15-minute video because Canva can't handle anything over 15 and a half minutes. Like the first few videos were great, but after a while it was just like it was starting to tear on me a bit. But I loved using Canva and all of its like fun tools and toys.
Just drop some royalty-free music on there, and bam, done.
Yeah, don't worry about it. All that shit down.
That's what
I think what I do kind of want to do is showcase, because I mean, there's quite a few figures I painted off camera. Maybe showcase like 5 at a time.
There you go.
Make kind of like a couple-minute video. I want to get Lazy Susan so I can.
Oh, they don't just sound kinky, Briscoe. They are kinky.
But yeah, do that. I also kind of want to get back into my storytelling.
I would love for that to happen, bud, because
Yeah.
you always have some amazing stuff going on.
Yeah, that's another thing. But yeah, usually floating around these channels. Thursdays on Toy Frenzy here.
Catch you on Mondays trolling Lawrence. Like, I didn't know you had a channel.
Yeah. Probably find me in the chats trolling Bobby with something.
Oh, definitely. That'll always happen. It's
Yep.
just part of the dynamic.
Gotta keep him on his toes.
You do. Keep them toes curled. I mean, what? John, what you got going on, brother?
I'm gonna have a few videos I'll be doing this week.
Talking to your mic more.
I'll have a couple videos doing some WWE superstars next couple of days. I will be posting my stop motion video for my first wrestling match. That'll be coming this week. And then I'll be doing some more unboxings on some other things that are coming in the mail. You can check it out also on IG, Figuratively Speaking, and YouTube, Figuratively Speaking.
Excellent. Cobb, you up next, buddy?
Don't have much coming out until I get some more figures in, but it should be the next couple days. Got those mythics coming in Wednesday, so probably next Thursday or Friday be the next video. But yeah, just Cobweb, collect on YouTube, and same on Instagram. And Bud, yeah, like your figures, you're talking about painting them and stuff. I was talking with a couple people about even maybe just doing some live, just Motu play, pop and swaps, or show off some of our customs and stuff. I was thinking about like you and Thanos, and as I know Thanos does a lot of them.
Yeah.
Little stupid things to do, just kind of have like a Motu play date or figure play date.
Play date.
Yeah, just because a lot of people ask me all the time, oh, is this swap with that? Or a lot with like the origins, oh, can do these two swap together and stuff. So can I do that and have
I'd be down for that.
Yeah, since I got so many origins, be like, yeah, anything you guys want to see if
Yeah, I've got quite the collection here.
Yeah, that's what I think, like you and like Thanos and a couple other guys I was talking to. So maybe do that sometime soon. I'll hit you guys up.
For sure.
And Allison right here's got a bunch of customs too.
Yeah, and
It's-
Allison.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have a little party.
Also, a beautiful segue into Allison. What you got coming on?
Yeah, in a few hours, 11 a.m. PST, Muriel and I coloring strawberry shortcake vintage pages. They're up on my community tab if you want to color along, download them. We'll be talking about her holiday and smack about people. Monday morning at 10:30 a.m. I have a collection of coloring shorts going live. It's all the Mark Taylor concept, the B sheet coloring pages that I've done. I put them all in one video. Sort of starting rolling into my Motu content for, I don't know, there's some like Motu thing happening soon. Also Monday at 4:15 Pacific Standard Time, I will be a guest star, I guess that's what we're calling it, on Largo's the Infinite
Playlist.
Yep, I'll be on that. We pre-recorded it. It was fun. I've got a Delta 17 Death Sparrow interview with Ken, and I've got the figure on a Lazy Susan for the middle of the video that's coming. And then at some point, my Castle Grayskull video will go up. So at some point. So yeah, that's it.
Very epic. All right. And for those of you who may not know, you can always catch me Thursdays on Skelevator's channel for Toy Frenzy. And then, naturally,